Chapter 51. After getting the detailed information, Lu Qing followed the guidance of the staff and came to a small meeting room in the martial arts arena. Huang Zhenzhong, Yi Yaoding, Wang Yi, Zhou Yuaning, and the other 32 fighters were already seated. According to the rules of the Phoenix Cup Warrior Sage Candidate Challenge Tournament, everyone had to sign a contract with the organizer, Yanyu Group. As a newbie, Lu Qing looked around and habitually slipped to a corner to wait for the organizer. "Hey, you fought beautifully with Wu Shitong yesterday. I dream of having that listening skill." As soon as he sat down, the fighter next to him greeted him with a smile. Lu Qing turned around and his eyes lit up. The fighter who greeted him was not a girl, nor did he look feminine, but he was still stunning. He was about the same age as himself, and there was still a bit of scholarly air about him. His facial features were delicate and handsome, and his temperament was otherworldly. He had shoulder-length hair that gave him the temperament of an artist. At first glance, the words, "classical handsome man," automatically appeared in his mind. His second thought was, "banished immortal." With this appearance, he was more than qualified to be an idol in the entertainment industry. If Little Ming saw this, his self-esteem would be hurt. Lu Qing criticized talker in his mind and replied politely, "Thank you, thank you. I was just lucky. I dare not be arrogant. There is no luck in listening skill." The classmate shook his head and smiled. "By the way, I haven't introduced myself." "Hello, Lu Qing, my name is Li Xiaoyuan." Lu Qing was a little surprised. "So you are Li Xiaoyuan. The highlights of your fight on the big screen just now were very exciting and very elegant. The competition videos were all long shots." Lu Qing knew who the fighter was from the words in the narration, but couldn't see his face clearly. Until now, Lu Qing matched the fighter in front of him with his name. He was a seated fighter, a mighty fighter of professional ninth pin. With some effort, my cats and dogs look like martial arts masters. Li Xiaoyuan laughed. Seeing that he was not arrogant and seemed to be easy to get along with, Lu Qing relaxed. He was a little confused. "I don't know why, but the name Li Xiaoyuan sounds familiar. Have I seen it in the competition these days?" "That's your question. How would I know?" Li Xiaoyuan smiled mischievously. "But we may meet again in the next few years." "There's a possibility of meeting again?" Lu Qing was surprised. He didn't understand the reason and put on a standard dumbfounded face. Li Xiaoyuan saw that he had succeeded in keeping him in suspense. He chuckled and said, "Songqing University Martial Arts Club has Lin Ke and a strong fighter like you. It's only a matter of time before they enter the national finals. Then we'll meet again, right?" Hearing this, Lu Qing's mind flashed. He finally remembered where he had heard the name Li Xiaoyuan. Unparalleled Dragon King, the humanoid database, once commented on Lin Ke. Among this year's freshmen, Li Xiaoyuan from Guangnan and Fang Zhirong from Shanbei are better than Lin Quebec, because he had only mentioned it once. He had long forgotten about it. Even Road to the Arena and Invincible Punch had no impression of them, so he did not mention them in the live broadcast post. "Are you Li Xiaoyuan from Guangnan University?" Lu Qing asked. Li Xiaoyuan nodded and said, "When I got your information and found out that you were a student of Songqing University, I was really, really surprised. I've watched several videos of Lin Ke's fights. He's a real fighter. Plus you're an amateur fighter. It makes no sense that you're not in the top 8 of the district competition. This is King embarrassing." Lu Qing felt ashamed and scratched his head subconsciously. "I've only made some small achievements recently." After a brief explanation, he quickly changed the topic. "Why did you come to participate in the Warrior Sage Challenge tournament?" Li Xiaoyuan didn't answer directly. He took out his wallet and took out his ID card. He handed it to Lu Qing and said, "See for yourself." Lu Qing was at a loss at first. Then he took a closer look and saw the 3 words, Yanling City, clearly written on Li Xiaoyuan's ID card. "You're a local." He suddenly realized. Just as he was about to praise Li Xiaoyuan's ID card for not being ugly at all, Lu Zuanyu, the chairman of Yanyu Group, and several people in charge of the tournament came in, followed by many bodyguards who were obviously strong fighters. Lu Zunyu said to the head bodyguard, Old Sheng, distribute the contract to everyone. The bodyguard, Old Sheng, was wearing sunglasses. He was of medium height, strong, and silent. When he distributed the contract, Lu Zunyu held his hands together like a martial artist and saluted the fighters as an outer sect disciple of Kong Tong School. Thank you all for coming to participate in the Warrior Sage Challenge tournament. Originally, I thought that a contract of good faith was unnecessary. But every country has its own laws and rules. We still have to follow the procedures. I believe that with everyone's moral character and martial arts ethics, you won't deliberately lose the game for gambling. Signing the contract is just a matter of face. Lu Zunyu was very good at talking, so Lu Cheng and the others didn't have any resistance. After that, he gave the rest of the details to the person in charge of the tournament. At this time, the contract was handed to Lu Cheng. As a freshman, he didn't major in law, so he just flipped through it casually and read the key points. The general idea was that if any fighter was found to have participated in gambling related to his own tournament, he would be punished by Jianghu rules instead of the law. The martial arts tournament is a competition of two people's personal strength, including from talent to preparation. As long as it's personal and doesn't violate the relevant laws and regulations of the country, we'll allow it. The person in charge of the tournament explained, but if a fighter participates in gambling related to martial arts, he will always be looked down upon by the people in Jianghu. As for the mighty ones with physical invulnerability, they are rich and powerful, so it's hard to buy them off and they can't be coerced. But for a small tournament like ours, we still have to pay attention to it. After all, we want to hold many tournaments, so we can't ruin our reputation in the first one. As for the rules of Jianghu, everyone should know. 3 knives and 6 holes, and martial arts will be abolished. The last 8 words were said a bit coldly. Lu Cheng, who had never participated in such activities, opened his mouth slightly. He didn't expect such a thing, but after thinking carefully, he felt it was reasonable. He felt that he had a bottom line and didn't need to worry about violating it, so he took the pen on the table and prepared to sign. Aren't you afraid that this is actually a contract to sell yourself? A faint voice came from the side. Huh? Lu Cheng put the pen down and turned to look at Li Xiaoyuan, somewhat frightened. Li Xiaoyuan's expression didn't change. He said calmly, just kidding. After that, he picked up the pen and signed his name. Hey, classmate, you should act according to your image. As a banished immortal, don't always make jokes. Lu Cheng secretly complained a few times and carefully flipped through the contract before he dared to sign. After finishing this process, the 32 fighters left separately. Lu Cheng didn't have the time to check the live broadcast posts on the forum to see how Road to the Arena and Invincible Punch mentioned encountering his old enemy again. He hurriedly finished his dinner and rushed back to the hotel. He turned on his computer and searched for videos related to Iron Palm, Wuthering 8 movements and other martial arts. Even if he would lose in the end, he would lose beautifully. After a while, his phone beeped. It was Yenjika's reply. She sent an emoji of a monkey beating its chest and cheering, not bad. Now you know what it means to have an invincible character. You didn't even win one more bottle. Lu Cheng's tense mood instantly recovered. I feel that I have to think about how to repay you again. Hey, it's not urgent. I don't know how to repay you at the moment. Let me think about it. Yenjika replied. Lu Cheng was a little disappointed and told her about his encounter with Guangnan Li Xiaoyuan in the afternoon. In the end, he said, Guangnan University is indeed an old school with a strong martial arts atmosphere. Yeah, they entered the national final this year by winning first place in the district competition. Yenjika sent a sighing emoji. Lu Cheng didn't know how to continue, so he said, I'm watching the competition video of Wang Yi, my opponent tomorrow, a professional 9th pin fighter who lives in the same hotel. Yenjika asked, what kind of martial arts is he good at? Iron Palm. I watched it. In the previous competition, someone defended with his arm, but his arm was broken by his palm. Lu Qing sent an emoji of, "I'm so scared that I hid behind the door." Yan Jika sent a surprised emoji. Then how do you defend? His attack is too horrible. Normally speaking, because of the characteristics of the body, the concentration of force, and the hammering practice, the hands, arms, legs, and feet were all used to defend the opponent's attack. Now, even though weapons could be broken by the opponent, how could he defend? Anyway, I don't want to win. I'm considering whether to always hit the wrist sideways to avoid the sharp edge to defend, or to keep wandering, avoiding direct contact and looking for an opportunity. Lu Qing told her his plan. The former requires the ability to judge moves and experience. Most of the time, you need to touch to grasp the listening skill, right? Yan Jika expressed her opinion. Lu Qing sent a nodding emoji. I'm also inclined to the latter method. Once there was contact, it was very likely that the defense would be broken. Well, if you want to enter the top 16, the focus is not on the iron palm, but on the other two. By the way, how do you know that professional ninth pin fighter has been absent for many years? Yan Jika asked. Because I know him. He's a friend in the forum of Longhu Club. Lu Qing answered honestly. Yan Jika sent a covering mouth emoji. What a coincidence. In ancient times, you could even become sworn brothers. What kind of martial arts is he good at? Wuthering 8 movements. Lu Qing answered. Yan Jika said, Wuthering 8 movements? It just so happens that I know something. Indefinite wind and unruly wind are footwork and dodging techniques. Shapeless wind and leakless wind are fighting techniques similar to the chilling to the bone of the 24 blizzard strikes. Howling wind and raging wind are similar to the brutal blizzard, but they don't require much listening skill. Tornado wind is a killing move, and horrifying hurricane is an explosive move. She talked about her understanding of Wuthering 8 movements. Lu Qing had a deeper understanding of it after watching the video just now. There's another fighter who's good at the shape of divine elephant. His leg skills and strength are very strong. While talking about Tang Yu, Lu Qing couldn't help but ask about his feelings during the chat just now. You don't seem to be in a good mood now. You don't even use emojis. Yan Jika sent a pitiful emoji. Well, I'm not feeling well. My stomach hurts. Stomach hurts? Is there anyone at home? Let them take you to the hospital. You can't take medicine or force yourself to bear it. Lu Qing was anxious at once. He seemed to empathize with her. Yan Jika was silent for dozens of seconds and sent 2 words. Idiot, ah. Lu Qing was confused. Why am I an idiot? Why am I an idiot if I care about your health? Yan Jika sent an emoji of squatting in the corner and drawing circles. It's no use to go to the hospital. It's, Lu Qing finally understood, and his old face immediately turned red. I'm a big idiot. Chapter 52. Lu Qing's heart ached for the girl's pain, but he was thousands of miles away and couldn't do anything. He wanted to comfort her, but he didn't know how to express it. After all, it was a private topic, so he was a little anxious, like a beast trapped in a small room, unable to find an exit. At this moment, he had a flash of inspiration. He quickly logged out of QQ and logged into the computer, sending an emoji of smashing its own head with a brick. I really didn't expect this. I've never come into contact with such things before. I've only seen it in health textbooks, some miscellaneous books, and some discussions. After sending this message, he opened his phone and dialed Kai Zhongming's number, asking for talkers outside guidance. Beep, beep, beep. When Yan Jika's reply appeared, Kai Zhongming also picked up the phone. Hello, Cheng. Talker, I have something to ask you. Lu Qing went straight to the point without any pleasantries. At the same time, his eyes were fixed on the computer screen, seeing Yan Jika's sneering emoji. It would be strange if you were familiar with it. Lu Qing held the phone in one hand and typed with one finger with the other. He asked casually, are girls especially in pain at this time? On the phone, Kai Zhongming sneered. What happened? You asked me in such a hurry, it must have something to do with your goddess. Good thing you didn't call me in the middle of the night, or I'll strangle you. Haha. Lu Cheng laughed dryly. Let me ask you, when a girl is not feeling well and it's not too serious, how should I express my concern? Yenjika's thing was a private matter, so it couldn't be told to other men. At this time, Yenjika replied, it depends on the person's physique. Some people are in so much pain that it lasts for a few days before it weakens. Some people feel nothing and can continue to drink cold drinks. For me, it was very painful on the first day, but I was fine on the second day. Lu Qing typed again with his finger and was about to say that if it was very painful, drinking hot water could relieve the pain. Hey, how to express concern in this situation varies from person to person, but there's one thing that can't be said, that is, don't let a girl drink hot water. Kai Zhongming's tone was full of interest. Lu Qing stopped typing and deleted all the content he had typed. He added, I'm still too naive to think that it's the same. While typing, he asked in bewilderment, why can't I say drink hot water? I think it's quite effective. Besides, she's spending the new year in Jiangnan province, which is more than 1,000 kilometers away from me. I have no other choice. There are actually many answers to this question on the internet, but I don't think they are enough to get to the essence. Since we are friends, I'll teach you the Kai family's insights for free. Kai Zhongming pretended to be a good teacher. The essence of drinking hot water is how attentive you are. That is to say, girls don't look at what you say, what you answer, or what you do. Instead, they look at how attentive you are, how serious you are, and how concerned you are. That is the crux of the problem. Lu Cheng was perplexed. Say it more clearly. I don't quite understand. At this time, Yenjika replied, you've never had a female deskmate feel uncomfortable in high school? Everyone feels uncomfortable sometimes. Lu Qing sent an innocent emoji and didn't have the ability to type more words. At the other end of the phone, Kai Zhongming explained, think about it. How long did you spend thinking and how much energy did you use to say the words drink hot water? It happened in the blink of an eye. I almost said it when I thought of it. Lu Qing seemed to understand. Kai Zhongming laughed and said, fortunately, you called me in time. You see, caring about a girl by drinking hot water doesn't even cost you a few brain cells. It doesn't even waste your time. Don't you think it's too perfunctory? Isn't it because you're not attentive enough? Got it. Lu Qing suddenly understood. Kai Zhongming clicked his tongue and said, you're worth teaching. So, even if you spend some brain cells to find a joke to tell a girl to divert her attention, it's still better than saying, drink hot water. Whether she laughs or not is another matter. At least she can see that you're trying to find something and not just saying perfunctory words. Since you understand the essence, isn't it easy to care about her? What's important is not what you say or do, but showing your attentiveness and attention in the process. For example, what is the most attentiveness and attention? Book a plane ticket immediately, spend a night flying there, and show up at her door early the next morning. If her condition is not better, take her to the hospital and take care of her. If her condition is better, bring her some of her favorite breakfast and cook for her in the kitchen. Of course, if you don't have a certain degree of relationship, you have to be careful when you use it. If she has no money, you have to be even more careful when you use it. Damn, Casanova, listening to your words is better than 10 years of books. Lu Qing listened carefully and praised while looking at the content on the computer screen. Yenjika replied, are you guys all so slow? When I was in number 1 middle school, there was a girl in my class who had her period. Her face was very pale, but her deskmate didn't notice it at all. He even wanted her to continue bringing breakfast for him. I always bring breakfast for people. Lu Qing typed one letter after another. Hearing his praise, Kai Zhongming snorted and said, I've already taught you the essence of the mental cultivation method of the Kai family. As for how to use it, it depends on your comprehension. That's all I can help you with. Lu Qing sincerely shouted, hey! Talker! You're my idol. Get lost. Don't think you can get away with such a praise. Treat me to a big meal when school starts. Kai Zhongming said fiercely and hung up the phone. Putting down the phone, Lu Qing saw that Yan Zhika had not replied. He realized that the content he sent while talking on the phone and chatting on QQ seemed to be a little perfunctory. He immediately added, after hearing what you said, I seem to understand one thing. It's a problem that has been bothering me for a long time. This was indeed an inspiration from the content on Yan Zhika's previous post. However, there were too many words and it was not suitable for a finger gesture. What's the matter? Yan Zhika replied with a puzzled emoji. Lu Qing sent a shocked emoji and said, once, my deskmate seemed to be very uncomfortable. She asked for sick leave and went home after class. The girl behind me helped her and tied her own clothes around her waist. I was puzzled at that time. I said that my deskmate was cold and needed clothes to keep her warm. Why did she tie the clothes around her waist and hang down to her thighs? What's the use of it? When the girl behind me came back from sending her off, I asked her about it. She just rolled her eyes at me. I didn't understand until today. So it was that. The clothes were to cover the traces. It should be like what the advertisement said, penetrating. Huh, it's good that I didn't scold you. Yan Zhika replied. Lu Qing saw that his topic seemed to cheer her up a little and became more confident. He asked according to Little Ming's theory, is your stomach still very painful? Yes. Yan Zhika answered briefly. Lu Qing sent a smiling emoji and said, I know a way to help you relieve the pain. What's the way? Yan Zhika sent a surprised emoji. Lu Qing replied, the great diversion method. As long as you don't think about the stomachache, you won't feel too bad. Although I don't think it will work very well, let's give it a try. Who knows? What are you going to use to divert my attention? Yan Zhika sent a pitiful emoji. Lu Qing thought for a while and said, I'll sacrifice myself and tell you my embarrassing story. Huh, how embarrassing. Yan Zhika sent an emoji of a cute cat waiting for food. At the beginning of September, when the military training was held, those who performed well in formation and marching would participate in the final report performance, right? Little Ming deliberately walked very badly. After being punished by the instructor several times, he still didn't get better. As a junior, he was kicked out of the performance team and began to take on the heavy responsibility of carrying food, washing pots and sweeping the floor. He didn't need to train and could hide in the shade of a tree to have a rest. After that, I was led astray by him. When the instructor was selecting people, I deliberately walked poorly and failed to be selected. Then I joined the logistics team. Lu Qing typed one sentence after another so as not to distract Yan Zhika's attention from the stomachache again if the interval between typing was too long. And then? This will only make people envious, not embarrassing. Yan Zhika asked. Lu Qing sent a sad face emoji. After a few days of happy days, the instructor gathered us together and took us to another toilet. He said there were too many classes living in this camp and it was dirty inside. Those who didn't participate in the report performance had to work harder and do more cleaning. Little Ming and I went in and almost vomited. Yan Zhika sent a laughing emoji. That's for being lazy. Now you know what retribution is. Lu Qing replied with a crying emoji. When we came out to take a few breaths of fresh air, the instructor said proudly that the quality of the students in Songqing University was good, unlike the students in the previous school who thought the toilets were dirty and settled in the ponds and bushes behind. I asked them to pick up and sweep the floor by themselves. Before he finished, Little Ming and I really vomited. Luckily, we didn't vomit. So disgusting. We girls took turns to carry food and sweep the floor. We paid more attention. Fortunately. Yan Zhika sent an emoji with blinking eyes. It seems to be useful to divert attention. Any other embarrassing stories? Lu Qing racked his brains and picked out the embarrassing moments from his childhood that didn't affect his image. He told her one by one, which made Yan Zhika very interested and happy. She seemed to have forgotten part of her pain. Cheng, any more? Yenjika was like Lu Cheng, who always listened to his mother's stories when he was a child. Lu Cheng's mind went blank. He felt that he had said all he could. After thinking hard again, he said, "No more. Shall we use other ways to divert attention?" Yenjika sent a smiling emoji. "My stomach doesn't hurt that much. I can try to sleep. When I wake up tomorrow, I'll be a good man again. Cheng, can you sing? Sing me a song. I'll fall asleep listening to it." This was a rare request from Yenjika. Lu Cheng said without hesitation, "Yes. Although it's not very nice, at least it's not out of tune. Which one do you want to listen to?" After sending the message, he logged out of QQ and logged in with his mobile phone. "You choose." Yenjika sent a sneering emoji. Lu Cheng thought for a while and opened the voice message. He blurted out, "Twinkle twinkle little star, the sky is full of little stars. Haha, you're so funny. Go on." Yenjika replied with a voice message. She was obviously in a good mood. "Stars in the sky." Lu Cheng suddenly changed the melody. "Join the Big Dipper." Pfft. Yenjika sent a "I'm dying of laughter" emoji. The song echoed in the room one after another. After a long time, Yenjika said, "Cheng, I'm very happy today. Good night, see you tomorrow." Lu Cheng said with a smile and sent a voice message. Yenjika replied with a voice message. She said in a joking and commercial tone, "Big baby, see you every day." Even if this wasn't enough to explain much, Lu Cheng was still very happy. A smile filled his face. "Hee, see you every day. Right, what's today's date? I'll write it down in my little notebook. This is the key information." After Yenjika fell asleep, he laughed for a long time and suddenly came to himself. "Damn. There's a competition tomorrow. I still have a lot of martial arts videos to watch." Chapter 53. Lu Cheng found a bunch of videos and combined them with the information. He watched them intently, dissecting, analyzing and reorganizing them in his mind. Half an hour later, he shook his head tiredly and tapped on the table, muttering to himself, "There are too many videos. It's impossible to watch them all. But I don't know which ones are the most important and representative." The listening skill required one to meditate and be absolutely focused. It consumed a lot of mental energy and wasn't something the Jin Dan could make up for. Therefore, after the fight with Wu Shitong, Lu Cheng, who had been racking his brains to chat, felt sleepy. While in a dilemma, he suddenly had an idea. He opened the favorites folder and entered the forum of Longhu Club. Road to the Arena, Zhou Yuaning would definitely do the same if he were to look for his opponent's battle videos. With so much relevant content available, he was very likely to ask for help from the humanoid database, Unparalleled Dragon King, for his opinion. Zhou Yuaning could secretly learn from him. In the live broadcast post of the Phoenix Cup Warrior Sage Candidate Challenge Tournament, when Invincible Punch announced that Lu Cheng was one of the opponents of Road to the Arena, in the group stage, the viewers who were not interested in his match videos before were filled with the desire to participate. "Master Road, it's time to wash away the shame of our forum. Don't be a hooligan," sent an emoji with a red scarf around its head. Beautiful World replied, "That Lu Cheng dared to bully our little fist. Now it's time for him to pay for what he did." Outspoken also said, "I was very upset when I saw Lu Cheng win against Woody. Master Road, you have to teach him a lesson. Uncle Road to the Arena, can I take a picture with my new idol before the fight? I can't see his face in the previous fight highlights." Brahman said excitedly. The moderator, Pig Riding Knight, sent an emoji knocking on the head again. "You little guy, how dare you side with an outsider? Pig Riding Uncle, I didn't. You wronged me. Look at my wronged eyes. I just want to take a picture with Uncle Road to the Arena. I still support him to win. My new idol is not as good as a professional ninth pin fighter." Brahman sent a crying emoji. "I'm also a member of the forum. I can't be biased. Lu Qing wiped his bitter tears and browsed through the many replies supporting Road to the arena to defeat him. He saw the suggestion offered by Unparalleled Dragon King at the end. Master Road, I've browsed through the Warrior Sage Challenge Tournament's official website and found that Wang Yi from your group is very strong. His iron palm can be said to be unstoppable. Among the professional 9th pin fighters, he's not an ordinary one. I have a few related videos here. Take a look, you should learn something. Road to the arena immediately sent a handshake emoji. Old Dragon, I was just about to ask you about this. Damn it, the people upstairs are just a bunch of big water brushes. You can't expect them to come up with a plan. Hee hee, I'm also waiting. Lu Qing opened the videos one by one. He paused and buffered them first before continuing to watch the discussions that followed. Unparalleled Dragon King said with a funny expression, I'm just an armchair strategist. I don't have as much combat experience as you, Master Road, but I can still help you find information. Old Dragon, what do you think about my chances of winning against Wang Yi? Road to the arena hadn't participated in a competition for many years. After suddenly encountering a strong opponent of professional 9th pin, he seemed to be a little nervous. According to Lu Cheng's judgment, 28 was the best he could do. Road to the arena 2-8, Wang Yi 8. But he was watching the video, so he didn't want to pretend to be an onlooker and express his opinion. He had to silently wait for Unparalleled Dragon King to reply. Probably 37. My personal opinion is not accurate. I also think 37. A plumber eating mushrooms chimed in. Pig Riding Knight, the moderator of the forum, also said, you've been idle for several years. It's already very good that you can have a 37 ratio with Wang Yi, a professional 9th pin fighter. I know. Alas, if I met him in my heyday. Road to the arena sighed. How do you think I should fight with him? Pig Riding Knight said, of course you should play to the strength of Wuthering 8 movements. You should use your graceful and agile footwork to fight. Even if he catches a chance, you should be able to block a few of his attacks with the outbreak of horrible hurricane, right? As long as you delay, you will lose if you keep defending. Then your chance will come. Lu Qing nodded slightly. This was also the way he planned to fight. But with Wang Yi's terrifying iron palm, even if he used Mega Avalanche and Lightning and Fire stance, he would not be able to block more than a few of his attacks. Alas, this was also the helplessness of the weak in the situation where the gap between their strength was too big. Road to the arena also replied with a helpless sigh. If I was in my heyday, I would have no problem fighting like this. But now, my strength is very low, and I have been fighting for 4 days. Today there are 2 matches in 1 day. I will lose if I can't wait for Wang Yi. Master Road, to tell you the truth, don't take it to heart. Just listen to me. Well, strategically give up the match with Wang Yi and save your energy for the last match. The key for you to enter the top 16 is not Wang Yi, but Lu Qing and Tang Yu, replied Unparalleled Dragon King. Well, after reading this sentence, Lu Qing realized how stupid he was. He had never thought of giving up the match with Wang Yi. He had never considered that once he was injured by the iron palm, the following matches would be a gift to his opponent. Although he was not injured today, his wrist that was pinched by Wu Shitong still hurt faintly. If he was hit by the iron palm, it would be unimaginable. Strategically giving up seems to be a good idea. With this thought, Lu Qing was like being tempted by the devil. He almost decided that tomorrow was just a formality and a pretense. But at this moment, he remembered why he did not consider this at the beginning. I came here to experience the competition. The prize money is good, and I am eager for it. But this is not my most fundamental purpose. Is it wrong to give up when facing a professional 9th pin fighter? Shouldn't I rack my brains and play to my strengths? Even if I lose, I have to lose beautifully. Only in this way can I detect my shortcomings, learn from the competition experience, temper my own martial arts, and accumulate nutrients for future progress. Not bullying the weak, not yielding to the strong. Without the spirit of a fighter, how can I overcome the difficulties in cultivation one after another? After thinking about it for a while, Lu Qing exhaled and showed a relaxed smile. One match at a time. Tomorrow I will concentrate on the fight with Wang Yi and not think about the following matches. I am so stupid. After making the decision, he calmed down and looked down at the road to the arena's reply. Old dragon, I know you are right. As long as I can beat Tang Yu and Lu Qing, it doesn't matter whether I win or not. I can still enter the top 16. It is better to strategically give up and save my strength to increase the odds of winning the last match. However, although I like to boast, be a little arrogant, and have no perseverance, I always consider myself as a fighter. As a martial artist, fighting with a strong enemy is something that makes one's blood boil and fascinates. I will fight with Wang Yi well. Lu Qing sighed with emotion. He did not expect the boastful road to the arena to have such a side. Fighter is really a wonderful word. Master Road, I understand. That is why I am an amateur and you are a professional fighter. Unparalleled Dragon King said. Road to the arena replied with a funny expression. The main reason is that the top 16 only get 5,000 yuan. If there were dozens of millions of yuan, I might strategically give up. Lu Qing was amused and almost laughed out loud. But if the top 16 get dozens of millions of yuan, even a fighter of professional 8th pin would not dare to expect to enter the top 16, because there would be stronger fighters. What kind of position could lead to what kind of temptation? As an amateur, he did not need to consider so much. A plumber eating mushrooms said, Master Road, I didn't like to call you that before. Now I sincerely admire you. Fight with Wang Yi well. Whether you win or lose, I will toast you with a bottle of wine when we meet in the future. Now, let's talk about Tang Yu and Lu Qing. Hee, I feel like we are gathering our wisdom and experience to break through. I am gathering wisdom and experience with Yan Zhika. I won't argue with you. Lu Qing complained. Tang Yu is good at the shape of divine elephant. He is tall and heavy, has amazing leg strength and terrifying collision. It is absolutely right to treat him as the weak Wang Yi. Pig riding knight joined in the discussion. As for Lu Qing, I have watched 2 videos of his matches and found that his most fundamental strengths are 2. One is his amazing talent in meditation. According to you in the arena, he has reached the level of great success in meditation. The other is his abnormal physical strength. It may be related to supernatural ability, or it may be because of his talent. Uncle Pig Riding Knight's analysis is right. All the martial arts strength that Lu Qing has shown is based on these 2 aspects. For example, the condensation stance and yin-yang stance developed from meditation are the roots of the listening skill and the adjustment of the center of gravity. Supported by abnormal physical strength, they cast the madness and fierceness of 24 blizzard strikes. Unparalleled Dragon King agreed. Road to the arena sent a thoughtful expression. It seems that to defeat Lu Qing, we have to start from these 2 aspects. This kind of physical strength monster will become more and more powerful as the match progresses. It is not that he is stronger, but that we are weaker. Yes, use abrupt force and not give him the opportunity to use the listening skill and to use the force to return. Use the body movement of Wuthering 8 movements to reduce his range of motion and force him to fight head-on. Don't let him delay time. A plumber eating mushrooms replied. Pig Riding Knight, the moderator of the forum, added, if he uses 24 blizzard strikes to attack instead of defense, then use tornado wind and horrible hurricane to fight head-on. Don't give him a chance to rise. This is the lesson of little punch. Combined with reducing the range of motion, try to end the battle in a short time. Watching them discussing how to deal with him, Lu Qing felt it was ridiculous and funny. Since he had to focus on the battle with Wang Yi tomorrow, he didn't think too much about it. He just silently wrote down the content in the notebook on the computer. He would think about it later. Feeling mentally exhausted, Lu Qing forced himself to finish watching the video, took a shower and went to bed. The next day, he got up on time and went to the small park nearby. He began to practice today's fighting style against Wang Yi. It would be more extreme than yesterday's. Guarding his spirit and entering a state of tranquility, Lu Qing visualized the nebula in his dantian and felt its slow rotation. Then he adjusted every inch of his muscles and felt the gradual shift of his center of gravity. Normally, when exerting force, the center of gravity was relatively still and stable. But in today's battle, Lu Qing wanted to keep the center of gravity in a moving state, sacrificing a certain degree of exertion in exchange for more unpredictable footwork and body movements. Only by fully utilizing one of his strengths could he have a chance to compete with Wang Yi. His center of gravity was like Mercury, swaying and rolling. After getting familiar with this feeling, Lu Qing moved his feet and adjusted his muscles all the time. Even when he punched or kicked, he still kept the center of gravity swaying and could complete the change of direction at any time. This kind of fighting style was too much for Lu Qing's physical strength. After 1 or 2 minutes, he had to rely on the Jindan to replenish his energy. His spirit was also damaged, but it was relatively better. At 7:30, he felt his head was numb, so he wisely stopped the practice and returned to the hotel. First, he sent a morning greeting to Yan Zhike and told her that he had gotten up in the morning to train for the battle with Wang Yi. Now he needed to sleep to recover his spirit for the battle in the afternoon. Even if he lost, he would not be upset at all. In the afternoon, at 1:30, dark clouds hung over the city and the cold wind whistled. Many people gathered in Yanling Martial Arts Gym, which was much livelier than before. Lu Qing, wearing the Songqing University Martial Arts Club's white uniform with black edges, stepped through the gate in high spirits. This would be the first time for him to challenge a professional ninth pin expert. Chapter 54. As soon as he entered the gate, the decibel level in Lu Qing's ears skyrocketed. All kinds of noises came from all directions and converged in the air above the martial arts arena. Along with the heat wave, the noise spread to every corner. Looking up, he saw that the usually empty stands were filled with people. Crowds continued to gather in different aisles. It was much livelier than the previous 5 rounds of knockout matches. According to the number of seats in Yanling Martial Arts Arena and the remaining seats, Lu Qing estimated that there were at least 8,000 people in the audience today. Once there were more than 10,000 people, it was boundless. 8,000 people also had a similar effect. Lu Qing secretly clicked his tongue and felt that he was sinking into the sea, becoming small and insignificant. In some places suitable for filming, cameras had been set up. Some were aimed at the arena, some were filming the audience, and some were following the reporters. Unconsciously, they set up a formal and solemn atmosphere. In the group stage, Yanling TV station didn't do live broadcasts. Instead, they used shooting clips and broadcasting highlights, so there was no commentator yet. Reporters had to randomly interview the fighters, the audience, and the organizers. After the top 16, the key battles would be broadcasted to everyone in Yanling. Seeing such a grand scene, Lu Qing didn't want to be bothered by trifles. He slipped into a corner and went to the fighters' locker room to meet the staff. "Mr. Lu, your match is in the 3rd round. Before and after that, you can choose to watch the match from the guest seats in the stands or stay in the locker room to watch the big screen." Seeing that Lu Qing still looked like a student, the staff didn't know whether to call him Mr. Lu or Mr. Lu. Lu Qing thought for a while and said, "I'll take a rest in the locker room." The way he was going to fight later was a great burden on his physical strength and mental strength. He had to be highly concentrated and wait patiently. "Then I'll call you when the time is right." The staff smiled and left the locker room. The other fighters were either in the stands or had failed and left. The locker room was empty except for Lu Qing. The hubbub of people outside set off the quietness. Lu Qing enjoyed this feeling. He sat in the middle of the metal bench and took out his phone to reply to Yan Zhike's message. "I'm already at the martial arts arena. I'm sitting in the changing room." "Oh right, your stomach doesn't hurt anymore, right?" Yan Zhike replied with a shu emoji. "Not bad. Compared to yesterday, I feel like I've been through fire and water." "Qing, according to your description, the next move will be very tiring. Let's not chat anymore and take the time to rest." "Yeah, you don't have to cheer for me today." Lu Qing sent a funny emoji. Yenjika replied, "Are you worried that it won't work even if we try our best?" No. It's rare for me to fight with a professional ninth pin expert. I need to show my true strength so that I can find my weaknesses and make up for them. If you do your best, won't you double your fake strength? Lu Qing replied with a snicker. Yenjika replied with a tearful expression, "You are so honest." Of course. Lu Qing unknowingly put on his signature smile. Yenjika sent an emoji of looking at the sky in a daze. If that's the case, then I wish you all the best. Why do these words sound so familiar? Lu Qing asked with a puzzled expression. Yenjika replied with a snicker emoji, "I heard it when the principal was giving a speech last time." Pfft. Lu Qing couldn't help but laugh. He knew that Yenjika was trying to lighten the atmosphere and dispel his nervousness. So he sent a struggling emoji and said, "Fortunately, the principal didn't give a speech for the Warrior Sage Challenge tournament. Don't worry, my goal today is to prove what I've learned. If I win, I'll be ecstatic. If I lose, I'll have no regrets." Yenjika sent a touching head emoji and said, "Then I'll give you another sentence. My grandfather often said to my cousin, 'Enjoy the battle, enjoy the martial arts. Enjoy the battle, enjoy the martial arts.'" Lu Qing silently read these words and sent a waving emoji. He logged out of QQ and closed his eyes to rest and maintain his mental state. After some time, someone knocked on the door of the locker room. He opened his eyes and saw the staff member coming in. "Mr. Lu, it's your turn soon." The staff member made a gesture of invitation. Lu Qing patted his white martial arts suit with black edges and stood up. He took a deep breath and stepped out of the locker room. In front of him was the towering dome, the dark mass of heads and the arena where all the lights were concentrated. On the stand, Lu Yinglong, Qin Jilin and the other disciples of Baiyuan Martial Arts School came again. "Senior brother, why are you here to watch Lu Cheng's match again? Haven't you learned what you should watch?" Qin Jilin felt that it was better to do something with the time. Lu Yinglong smiled and said, "I want to see what other surprises he can create. What surprises can he have? Can he beat Wang Yi of professional ninth pin?" Qin Jilin snorted. In the guest seats, Yi Yaoding and Jiang Lan of Danqi State sat side by side. "I don't know how long he can last," Yi Yaoding suddenly said when she saw Lu Qing walking toward the arena along the path of light. Jiang Lan was a young woman in her 20s with a demure appearance. She smiled and said, "I just hope he won't give up and make Wang Yi more tired. Wang Yi is a strong contender for the championship." "Sister Lan, why do you value Wang Yi so much?" Yi Yaoding turned her head and looked at Jiang Lan with a competitive spirit in her clear eyes. Jiang Lan gently smiled and said, "Wang Ye's fighting style is fierce, his iron palm is ruthless, and he is very good at bullying the weak. As long as he doesn't meet an evenly matched opponent, he won't consume much of his stamina. But I am just the opposite of him, accumulating my stamina one battle after another. When it comes to the final battle, I may not have the confidence to beat him before my stamina runs out. My fighting style is also very ferocious." Yi Yaoding murmured. After handing over his mobile phone and other items to the competition supervisor, Lu Qing walked up the stone steps and entered the ring step by step. Before he could stand still, he heard bursts of cheers and cheers coming from different stands. That was because in the previous few matches, he had started from nothing, accumulating the audience one by one. Thinking of this, Lu Qing felt proud and his blood began to boil. He was in the most suitable state for the battle. In front of him, Wang Yi in a dark cyan martial arts suit was standing steadily. The first match of the fourth group, Wang Yi of professional ninth pin whose iron palm has shocked the arena, versus the famous mysterious master Lu Cheng. Will Wang Yi defend the honor of professional ninth pin with his iron palm, or Lu Cheng will be a black hand to the end? In the broadcast of the martial arts arena, the announcer called out the two sides in a provocative tone. Boom! The stands were full of enthusiasm again. Lao Zheng, the young couple and other audiences cheered even harder than before. The referee raised his head and looked at the electronic clock. He looked left and right and said loudly, "Talk time starts now." As soon as he finished his words, Lu Qing saw the short-haired young man, Wang Yi, smile and say, "You're really an interesting opponent. I asked someone to look for videos of your previous matches. I can clearly see that you're using actual combat to grow little by little. In just a few days, you've shown a complete transformation. It's simply daunting. Facing an opponent like you, I should have been excited to see you and let you show off all your strengths in a battle to my heart's content. But I'm sorry, the prize money this time is very important to me. In order to save as much energy as possible to deal with the strong enemies behind me, I can only choose to end this quickly." His words were sincere, and one could hear the appreciation and regret in them. Lu Qing said with a gentle smile, "I'm sorry, too. I'm afraid I can't let you have a quick battle." After that, they looked at each other and smiled. The confidence of martial artists was in their hearts. Lu Qing and Wang Yi stopped talking and waited patiently for the time to pass, ignoring the confrontation on the spiritual level. "Start." Suddenly, the referee waved his right hand. Lu Qing, who was ready to attack, suddenly jumped out. He adjusted his muscles and kept changing his center of gravity, like a snake that was wriggling to attack. Wang Yi didn't move. He slightly lowered his waist and half raised his hands. He didn't make a judgment in advance. Rolling his center of gravity, Lu Qing took a step forward and came to Wang Yi's left side. His right palm was like an illusory cold, silently but quickly patted. Bam! Wang Yi's right hand suddenly came out from under his left armpit. He didn't have time to prepare before he patted out an iron palm that tore the airflow. The faint metallic luster reflected a faint light. He was going to meet Lu Qing's attack head-on. Lu Qing clearly remembered that in the second round of the knockout match, an amateur third-pin fighter was careless and directly injured his metacarpal bone by Lu Qing's palm. Lu Qing's center of gravity rolled again. His right palm drew an arc with his footwork and dispersed the force. He flashed behind Wang Yi like a ghost, as if he had anticipated and prepared for this. Before he could stand firm and make a move, Wang Yi pulled the muscles of his left leg and kicked out with a horse kick. This kick came without any warning. Under the strange posture, the strength was actually able to link up bit by bit. It was extremely explosive, comparable to the tiger tail kick of Invincible Punch, Jin Tao. It was fast, accurate, and ruthless. His body swayed and his center of gravity rolled again. Lu Qing didn't wait to stand firm. He took a step forward and came to Wang Yi's right side, just in time to avoid the kick. Such a change stunned the audience, who felt that he seemed to violate human dynamics. Lu Qing's posture was strange. He shook his right arm and whipped Wang Yi, who had just retracted his left leg. Wang Yi had watched Lu Qing's previous match videos and remembered his ability to control his muscles and coordinate his center of gravity. His haystack fishing for the moon and horse kick were prepared for this. But he didn't expect that Lu Qing could adjust his center of gravity again and again, even if there were attacks in between. Wang Yi's face turned serious. His right hand, which had been swinging to the left, suddenly swung back, making a short and rapid sound of friction with the air. Then he hit Lu Qing. The secret unique skill of iron palm, back thrust. Back thrust was so powerful and unexpected that Lu Yinglong and the other spectators raised their eyebrows in fear. They felt that Lu Qing had no choice but to take the attack head-on. Once he did, the match would enter Wang Yi's territory. But Lu Qing, like a ghost, turned back in the attack. Although he dispersed the inch force of his right arm, he still avoided Wang Yi's back thrust and appeared behind his opponent again. Mercurial center of gravity. Yi Yaoting murmured in the stands. Jiang Lan beside her smiled and whispered, "Interesting." If it weren't for the fact that his strength was scattered and there was still a long way to go before he could fully condense it, I would have suspected that he was a real Danchi martial artist. In the center of the arena, Wang Yi was not surprised but delighted. His face was full of enthusiasm for martial arts. This kind of opponent is interesting. Chapter 55. Mercurial balance. Road to the arena, Zhou Yuaning, who paid more attention to this match than anyone else, blurted out with a look of astonishment. He didn't expect Lu Cheng's ability to control his muscles and coordinate his weight to be so strong, but he was also surprised that he didn't give up at all. Invincible punch, Jin Tao took a deep breath and slowly exhaled. Success in meditation is really amazing in martial arts. Master Road, even with Lu Cheng's abnormal physical strength, it's not easy for him to maintain the state of mercurial balance. It seems that he really didn't reserve anything for the next 2 matches. The unyielding strong man proves what I've learned. He's also a real fighter. Road to the arena showed some appreciation and admiration. I thought he would give up this match. While speaking, he didn't care about the audience who didn't understand the power of mercurial balance. He just kept clapping and cheering, which suddenly echoed in the martial arts arena that was relatively quiet for a while. Following his cheers, Jiang Lan, Huang Zhenzhong, Yi Yaoding, Li Xiaoyuan, and the other masters also applauded. Although the 2 sides had not touched each other once, the changes in the slightest were thrilling. The level of martial arts displayed was extraordinary. Mercurial balance. In the arena, Wang Ye's face showed a bit of fanaticism. With his back to Lu Cheng, he slightly adjusted and swung his left hand back before the enemy made a move. Bam! His left arm was like a soft whip, whistling and sweeping horizontally, driving half of his body to block the possibility of Lu Cheng dodging to the left, as if to force him to move to the right. Since the start of the match, he tried to take the initiative for the first time to control the situation. As a professional 9th pin, his speed of self-adjustment and re-exertion was not slower than Lu Cheng's dodging step. In view of this, Lu Cheng was afraid of falling into a trap, so he flowed back 2 steps and steadily avoided the whip palm. Wang Yi turned around, twisted his waist and back, driving the muscles of his right leg to tighten. He suddenly exerted his strength and swept out like lightning. The sharp sound of breaking air was very loud, and the power was imaginable. He continued to use a horizontal sweep to cut off the possibility of Lu Cheng moving to the right side of his body and to reduce the range of his dodging. Lu Cheng maintained his rhythmic breathing. His muscles were constantly adjusting, making his center of gravity like Mercury, constantly swaying between left, right, front, and back. When he decided which direction to move, he didn't need to accumulate strength or overcome inertia. He could complete it immediately with a bounce. This was the essence of mercurial center of gravity, one of the characteristics of a master of Danqi state. He swayed his center of gravity and took a natural step forward. In a way that defied the common sense of the audience, he stepped to Wang Ye's left side. He didn't lower his waist nor did he sit down. Instead, he slashed down with his fist and attacked the opponent's weak side. The sweeping force of Wang Ye's right leg stopped abruptly, as if he had anticipated Lu Cheng's attack. He quickly tapped the ground with the tip of his foot, bounced his left arm, opened his elbow and turned it into a javelin, and stabbed the right side of Lu Cheng's body with the tip of his palm. His 5 fingers were also suffused with the color of iron. They were as black as the tip of a great spear. If one were to be poked, the result would be unimaginable. Lu Cheng's center of gravity had been moving, so he bounced back and dodged out of Wang Ye's attack range. Wang Yi didn't show any mercy. He stepped forward and pulled his arms back like a bow and arrow, and then shot them out at the same time, whistling toward Lu Cheng's temples from both sides. The smell of iron rushed to Lu Cheng's nose, and the sound of air tearing shook the ears. Double peaks piercing the ear. Lu Cheng didn't dare to take Wang Ye's iron palm head-on. He shifted his center of gravity again and stepped back, nimbly dodging the attack. Wang Yi adjusted slightly. Seeing Lu Cheng stepping to his left side, he caught up with him again. He exerted strength from his waist and back, passing it from his thigh to his knee, from his knee to his calf, and from his calf to the tip of his foot. Pa! Another sweep from left to right. Lu Cheng had to change his center of gravity and step back obliquely. Since the beginning of the competition, they hadn't collided once. Wang Yi is trying to reduce Lu Cheng's movement range. Yi Yaoding watched attentively. Any player who wanted to be the champion wouldn't ignore Wang Yi. She could clearly see that Wang Ye's previous continuous attacks weren't aimed at hitting Lu Cheng or forcing him to fight head-on, but to reduce the range of guerrilla warfare. Not only that. Jiang Lan smiled. Haven't you noticed? Lu Cheng is getting closer and closer to the edge of the arena. Yi Yaoting was stunned. She focused her eyes and saw that the two who were fighting in the center of the arena had moved to the spectator seats, only 10 steps away from the edge of the arena. The arena competition is different from the real battlefield competition. There is a limit to the edge. Once you fall, you lose. So guerrilla warfare is a little unfavorable. Wang Yi is taking advantage of this to force Lu Cheng to the edge, forcing him to either jump off the platform and admit defeat, or fight head-on. Jiang Lan laughed. Without a very strong ability to judge moves and without a good ability to coordinate oneself, it is very difficult to do this. Unfortunately, Wang Yi has both, but his consumption is not small. While she was talking, Lu Cheng kept moving left and right, as if he wanted to hide behind Wang Yi and escape from the predicament. However, under Wang Ye's terrifying attacks and accurate judgment, he steadily but slowly approached the edge of the arena. The gap between their strength was obvious. Glancing at the nearby seats, Lu Cheng heard the uncontrollable exclamations of the spectators. He knew clearly that he would fall off the arena in 3 or 4 steps at most. Until now, they hadn't collided once, which made the spectators feel bored. Only sporadic cheers and applause were heard, either from those who were good at martial arts, or from the supporters that Lu Cheng and Wang Yi had accumulated along the way. Seeing Lu Cheng was forced to the edge, most of the spectators were refreshed and focused again, making all kinds of sounds. Wang Yi twisted his body strength and passed through his right leg, driving the tip of his foot to turn into a soft whip. Pa! Another horizontal sweep, continuing to reduce Lu Cheng's dodging options. Seeing his right leg whizzing towards him, the sound of it breaking through the air was enough to make one shudder. Lu Cheng suddenly lowered his center of gravity and stopped moving. The picture of high ice peaks and layers of snow had appeared in his mind. The sense of horror was almost tangible. Boom! A silver-white lightning cut through the sky and struck down instantly, stirring up the prairie fire and shaking the thousands of years of accumulated snow. Boom! The snow peaks collapsed, and hundreds of millions of white streams collapsed, rolling down and swallowing everything in the coverage. Lightning and fire stance. Mega avalanche. Lu Cheng's body was numb and hot flow surged. He clenched his hands into fists and blocked Wang Ye's whip kick from bottom to top. He seemed to be forced into a desperate situation and had to fight head-on, just as Jiang Lan, Yi Yaoting, Zhu Yuaning and others expected. Bang! Hitting Wang Ye's right leg with both fists, Lu Cheng slightly adjusted his center of gravity and added a lift force to move Wang Ye's right leg up like a lever. In the blink of an eye, Lu Cheng suddenly lowered his body and rolled behind Wang Ye's legs. In a short moment, they exchanged positions, and Wang Yi came to the edge of the arena. Lu Cheng straightened his back and stood up abruptly. He leaned forward with the momentum of mega avalanche in his mind and wanted to knock Wang Yi out of the arena directly. He had waited for the entire match, endured for the entire match, all for this opportunity. Inspired by Wu Shidong's story, he had avoided collision from the beginning. No matter facing palm or leg, he always retreated. However, Wang Ye's strong iron palm was the specialty of this palm technique. In terms of pure strength, he was not as good as Yi Yaoting. Why would he not dare to block Wang Ye's whip kick with mega avalanche and lightning and fire stance? This was not only to lose his balance and lose his advantage of Mercury, but also to make Wang Yi think that he was afraid of a head-on confrontation. When he was forced to the edge of the arena, Wang Yi was also at the edge of the arena. Once he seized the opportunity of Wang Ye's whip kick, he would kick high and give Wang Yi no time to make other adjustments. He would roll behind Wang Yi, and then the offensive and defensive positions would be switched. Originally, he was not sure that he could defeat Wang Yi by himself. However, at the edge of the arena, with the help of the rules, he had a great hope. All he had to do was knock Wang Yi out of the arena. The desperate situation that Wang Yi had painstakingly created would be the key to defeat him. This is the complete version of my story. Lu Qing thought and suddenly leaned forward. This caused the spectators to let out cries of surprise. They had not expected the situation to change so abruptly in such a short time. Wang Yi's right foot landed on the ground and he took 2 steps forward to avoid Lu Cheng's fatal attack. He turned his body, but he was already standing at the edge of the arena. Lu Cheng took a deep breath. In his mind, lightning struck again, and the avalanche started again. The white stream burst out. He leaned sideways and lowered his left shoulder. He was going to use it as a horn to hit Wang Yi. Even if Wang Yi used iron palm, he would still hit him. As long as he could make Wang Yi take a step back, he would accept it even if he got hurt. From the beginning, he had not considered the next 2 matches. He had tried his best and was not afraid of getting hurt. He just wanted to win regardless of the consequences. In life, there was no need to be overcautious. No way. In the stands, Yi Yaoding, Zhou Yuaning, Jiang Lan and other professional mighty ones blurted out. They did not expect Lu Qing to create an opportunity to win and put Wang Yi in a desperate situation. Facing this, Wang Yi's expression was a little complicated. He raised his right hand, took a step forward and pushed forward. His temples bulged strangely. Bam! In the air, as if there was a piece of iron rapidly beating the airflow, the wind pressure suddenly changed and blew on Lu Cheng's face, who was only 1 step away. Lu Cheng was adjusting his breathing to make full use of the force of the hit. But when his face was hit by such a strong pressure, he suddenly felt his breath stagnant. His breath stagnated and his strength slowed down. He failed to hit out in time. Wang Yi took a step forward and stuck in front of him, his right palm hanging beside his temple. Wang Yi wins. The referee announced the result in a loud and clear voice. The whole martial arts arena was silent. Because of the sudden reversal of victory and defeat, even Lu Qing himself was in a trance for a moment. He lost just like that? Wang Yi put away his iron palm and looked at Lu Qing. He sighed and said, I prepared this move to deal with the masters of Danqi State. I didn't expect you to force me to use it. P.S. Update the chapter at noon in advance. Chapter 56. Lu Cheng's mind was still stuck in the scene where he was so close to defeating a professional 9th pin mighty one. He looked a little lost until Wang Yi spoke. That's right. Yes, when the 2 sides were so close to each other, victory or defeat would be decided in an instant. That was Wang Yi's desperate situation, and also his own desperate situation. Whoever grasped the opportunity first would win the match. If he didn't have time to make that strike, the result could be imagined. The only problem was that he had the upper hand. Although he had said that he would have no regrets even if he lost if he did his best, when the result came, Lu Cheng's heart was still filled with regret, loss, and pain. A fighter without a strong desire to win is not a good fighter. Lu Cheng comforted himself silently. In this aspect, his idol, Dragon King Chen Qitao, was particularly obvious. He was often criticized for not being graceless when he lost and not caring about his opponent's feelings when he won. He was not like warrior sage Qian Donglu, who had the temperament of a grandmaster. But his fans felt that this was his true nature and the original motivation for him to get to where he was today. Looking at Wang Yi's sincere eyes, Lu Qing smiled bitterly and said, I did my best and created the only and best opportunity. But after all, my strength was not enough. I could only watch as I failed. I wanted to say that I was sincerely convinced, but I couldn't. I only had a stronger fighting spirit in my heart. I hope I can make up for this failure in the future. After this battle, his own shortcomings were deeply imprinted in his heart, forcing him to improve. If it weren't for them, he wouldn't have had to fight so hard and wait for such an either/or situation. Wang Yi smiled and said, Actually, you didn't lose. At least I didn't end the battle quickly. Hearing this, Lu Qing couldn't help but laugh. Thinking of his words before the official competition, his mood eased a lot. He saluted and said, I won't set such a small goal next time. Exhaling, he turned and walked towards the stone steps, ignoring the hustle and bustle around him. The taste of failure was really unpleasant. No matter what kind of failure it was still a failure to him. He wouldn't think that it was a glorious defeat. In the stands, although the audience didn't quite understand the previous contest of mercurial balance and compressed range, and felt that there was nothing to write home about, the continuous twists and turns in the last stage still made them feel satisfied. They only regretted that Lu Qing didn't seize the opportunity, otherwise they would have witnessed the birth of a miracle, a fighter of no rank defeating a master of professional ninth pin. What a pity. Lu Qing was so close. Zheng clapped regretfully. His companions also sighed. To be able to fight to this extent, Lu Qing can be considered to have lost without regrets. Lu Yinglong was even more emotional. He said to Qin Jilin and other junior brothers and sisters, every time I watch a match, I can see that Lu Qing is obviously getting stronger. At the beginning of the match, I never thought that he could fight with a professional ninth pin expert to this extent. Comparisons are odious, Qin Jilin still couldn't believe it. He actually almost defeated a professional ninth pin, his words before the match were still ringing in his ears. He had almost witnessed such a surprise. When the audience was discussing the match, the professional fighters were also reminiscing. A poem that affected the rhythm of breathing, not bad. Jiang Lan whispered, turned to look at Yi Yaoting, and asked with a smile, if you were in Wang Ye's last predicament, how would you deal with it? First of all, with the speed and agility of my leopard form, he wouldn't have a chance to fight. Second, although I couldn't hit Wang Ye's last poem, my strength was much better than his. Even if Lu Qing used Mega Avalanche and Lightning and Fire Stance, he wouldn't be able to hit me and make me fall out of the ring. Yi Yaoting answered with a little pride. Even if the center of gravity was unstable, with this possibility, I could also seize the opportunity of collision and fall out of the ring with him. At worst, it would be a tie. Jiang Lan smiled, sighed and said, at worst, it will be a draw. Lu Qing really can't be underestimated since he can make a proud person like you say this. He not only has the two advantages of great success in meditation and abnormal physical strength, but also is quite good at fighting and absorbing other people's experience for his own use. If he has the level of professional ninth pin in other aspects, Wang Ye's chance of winning is less than 10%. Less than 10% chance of winning. Yi Yaoting was stunned. She didn't expect Sister Lan, who was outwardly soft but outwardly proud, to have such a high opinion of Lu Qing. Road to the arena, Zhou Yuaning was silent for a long time before he exhaled and said to Invincible Punch, I didn't expect Lu Qing to do his best without reservation and not give up strategically. Now I didn't expect that he could push Wang Yi to the point where he almost lost the match. Losing the match didn't mean the failure of strength, but the limitation of the challenge tournament. Invincible Punch, Jin Tao was also in a daze. He smiled bitterly and said, I've thought about it carefully. Facing Wang Yi, it's impossible for me to create such a good opportunity. He will only end the battle quickly. Zhou Yuaning seriously pondered and said, if I were in your position, I'm afraid I wouldn't have the patience to tell a nearly true story like Lu Qing. And when I was in a dilemma, I couldn't turn defeat into victory like Wang Yi. Master Road, don't be shaken. What you are good at is different from them. If you were in Wang Ye's position, you wouldn't be so restrained like Lu Qing and not dare to face Iron Palm. And with the characteristics of Wuthering 8 movements, you wouldn't be like Lu Qing, who only has strange body movements and can't keep up with speed and agility. You can't pull away from Wang Yi and can be easily caught up by him. Jin Tao comforted him. As for Lu Qing, even if he has a mercurial center of gravity, he is just showing off in front of an expert in Wuthering 8 movements. Zhou Yuaning said, don't worry. I have always been a person who is overconfident. How can I be defeated so easily? Only these two opponents can make my blood boil. But I have to deal with the next one first. After that, he stood up and walked along the aisle to the arena to face Tang Yu. The second match of the fourth group. Lu Qing found a convenient place in the stands to watch the match and was comforted and encouraged by the unfamiliar but enthusiastic audience. He responded slightly, sat down quietly, took out his mobile phone, logged on QQ and sent a sad emoji to Yen Jika. "Comfort me." Yen Jika seemed to have been waiting for a reply. She touched her head first and then covered her mouth to laugh. Who said that if he won, he would be ecstatic and lose without regret? When a man is bragging, you can't take his words seriously. Lu Qing wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. His annoyance dissipated a lot after being teased. "I know. Dragon King is my idol. I understand the strong desire of a fighter to win." Yen Jika sent a laughing emoji. "I've been watching your match videos." Lu Qing sent a surprised emoji. "So fast?" "It's a group match. After a match, there will be a corresponding video on the official website. When it comes to the top 16, maybe there will be a live broadcast." Yen Jika sent a leisurely monkey with red hearts in her eyes. Lu Qing was about to reply when Yen Jika sent a shocked leisurely monkey. "Mercurial balance? You can do that?" The girl's surprise made Lu Qing happy. His annoyance of failure faded away. He pretended to be reserved. "I had a similar understanding and experience when I was practicing martial arts. Now I'm just using it for actual combat. I practiced for a long time this morning before I could barely use it in actual combat. And it's too easy to get tired." "You only practiced for a morning." Yen Jika sent a sweaty leisurely monkey with exposed red butt. "Don't praise me. I'll be proud." Lu Qing deliberately replied in a joking tone. Not far away, Li Xiaoyuan saw him and gave him a thumbs up, indicating that he fought well. Lu Qing smiled and nodded as a response. While discussing his own match with Yen Jika, he turned his eyes to the central ring to watch the match between Zhou Yuaning and Tang Yu. Tang Yu was strong and tall. He was quite fat, but his fat protected his body, allowing him to rampage like an elephant and ignore most of the attacks. It was somewhat similar to the Golden Bell Shield. His arms were as thick as ordinary men's thighs and his legs were even more terrifying. Every attack he made was trampling. Lu Qing suspected that if he hit a fighter of amateur 4th or 5th pin, he might not be able to stand up again. Although he was not agile enough, he was still quite agile at times. For example, when Zhou Yuaning seized the opportunity to get close to his back, his right hand imitated the elephant trunk and swung back with a roar, almost injuring Road to the arena. But Zhou Yuaning's footwork was agile. He came and went like the wind. When he missed, he immediately pulled away, so that Tang Yu's trampling and collision could not hit him. In the stalemate, Yen Jika sent a messy leisurely monkey. "If I didn't know the result, I would have thought you won when you flashed behind Wang Yi. How long have you been practicing martial arts? You can force a professional 9th pin expert to the point where he is only one step away from losing. Haha, I just patiently told a good story." Lu Qing was a little complacent. The shock and appreciation of the girl he loved completely dispelled the negative feelings of failure. He could prepare for the next day's match wholeheartedly. The two of them chatted casually, and the battle in the central ring slowly entered a white-hot stage. Zhou Yuaning seemed to be a little physically exhausted, and it was difficult for him to maintain such a high-intensity win style. After Tang Yu consumed a lot of energy, he seized the opportunity and made a set of combo moves, Tornado Wind. In the sound of pa pa pa, Tang Yu's movement was slow and his head was hit by a palm. His fat could no longer be protected and he became dizzy. Zhou Yuaning controlled his vital parts. After the referee announced the victory, Zhou Yuaning gasped for breath with sweat on his forehead like rain. Obviously, it was not easy. Lu Qing watched thoughtfully. In his mind, the advantages and disadvantages of the two's moves just now appeared, and he deduced his own response. After the last match, he quickly had dinner nearby and told Yen Jika that he had to practice martial arts tonight and could not chat until after 9 o'clock. The next day's match was in the morning, so it was impossible to practice in the morning. Otherwise, he would not be able to make up for his energy. In the small park, Lu Qing imagined Tang Yu as an enemy and slightly changed the fighting style of today's battle with Wang Yi. He practiced one move after another, sometimes with crisp sounds, sometimes with silence. The next day, after warming up with the morning exercise, Lu Qing took the phone and chatted with Yan Jika. Once again, he came to the martial arts competition stadium of Yanling. Don't be careless, don't underestimate. Don't think that I can easily defeat an amateur first pin expert after a fight with a professional ninth pin expert. He said to himself silently. He clearly remembered that he used the endurance provided by the Jin Dan to wear out Invincible Punch, Jin Tao, who was also of amateur first pin. Chapter 57. In the locker room, a few fighters were resting with their eyes closed, waiting for the next match. Lu Qing sat in the corner, relaxed and chatted with Yan Jika on his phone. Today's match is the 7th match in the morning. There's still some time before it starts. He sent a message with an onion in a hot spring. In order to keep up with Yan Jika, he also downloaded a new emoji pack. Yan Jika sent back a handsome onion winking emoji. Are you nervous? Not at all. After fighting a professional ninth pin, I'm used to facing a master of amateur first pin. It's no big deal. Of course, I won't be arrogant and look down on my opponent. My current comprehensive strength is still worse than that of an amateur first pin. Lu Qing sent an emoji of a grinning dog. Yan Jika replied, You've said all the right and wrong words. How can I answer you? Can't we have a good chat? The opponent doesn't want to talk to you and throws a dog at you. Coach Yan's good guidance makes me have such a good mentality. Lu Qing snickered and said sorry to his master in his heart. In order to get a girlfriend, I have to make you suffer. Yan Jika sent an emoji of an onion pushing up glasses. Good. It's good that you know this. I watched Tang Yu's match video last night and found that the way you fought with Wang Yi was also suitable to deal with him. Besides, he was much weaker than Wang Yi and his movements were slower. He couldn't reduce your range of activities. Coach Yan is right. As long as I can make him miss a few more times, he will be burdened by his size and consume more energy. Then my chance will come. Lu Qing sent an emoji of a monkey wagging its tail and showing its red heart. Yan Jika sent an emoji of a monkey proudly. But he must have watched your match yesterday. He will probably change today. You have to be careful. Don't worry. I have also adjusted my fighting style. Lu Qing sent an emoji of a monkey beating its chest proudly. Fighters came in and out. Some went to the ring to participate in the match, and some went back to the locker room to take a shower. Lu Qing and Yan Jika talked about the 5th match before they knew it. I have to warm up and adjust my state. Lu Qing sent an emoji of staying up all night working hard. Yan Jika covered her mouth and smiled. Do you need my help today? Of course. Lu Qing snickered. Originally, I wanted you to sing a song for me to cheer me on. But this kind of heavy encouragement is better left for tomorrow's battle with Zhou Yuaning, the former professional ninth pin fighter. Let's be casual today. He was reminded of the time when he sang for Yan Jika. Yan Jika sent an emoji of throwing a grenade and said, Dream on. You want to sing? After this message, she immediately sent a voice message, which was slightly different from before. Qing fighting. Lu Qing smiled, saved the voice message, logged out of QQ, pocketed his phone and closed his eyes to rest. Compared to the slight nervousness and apprehension he had before he challenged Wang Yi, he was calm at this moment, as if he had nothing to worry about. Without much help from the Jin Dan, he had successfully concealed his spirit and qi. His thoughts rose and fell quickly without leaving a trace. The sounds around him were magnified, but he did not disturb his state of mind. This state was very strange. It was like the return to tranquility after many days of fighting and the release of various emotions. Without experiencing the outside, how could one see the heart? Lu Qing suddenly woke up from the subtle experience, as if he had sensed something. Without looking at the electronic clock, he instinctively stood up, walked to the entrance of the locker room, and opened the door. Outside the door, the staff had just come close and didn't have time to knock on the door. Seeing the door open, the staff was surprised to see Lu Qing there. After a while, he said, "Your match is about to start. You can go on stage." Lu Qing must have seen the time on the electronic clock, so he came out before he knocked on the door. Lu Qing smiled gently and said, "Okay, sorry to trouble you." The wonderful state of tranquility gradually faded. He felt some changes in himself, but he couldn't feel it directly. Taking a step forward, Lu Qing started to adjust his body to get his muscles and spirit excited. The winter sky was dark. Under the illumination of the lanterns, a bright path was paved between the arena and the changing room. In the stands, Yi Yaoding was drinking a nutrient drink to replenish the nutrients she had just won in the battle between the professional ninth pin fighters. The seat beside her was empty, and Jiang Lan, who was always by her side these days, was nowhere to be seen. Seeing Lu Qing stepping on the stone steps and gradually increasing his momentum, Jiang Lan leisurely approached from the aisle and entered the seat. "Sister Lan, where have you been?" Yi Yaoding asked casually. Jiang Lan smiled and said, "I made a phone call and went to the betting station outside to bet on Lu Cheng's win." "Isn't this against the contract?" Yi Yaoding didn't read the contract carefully at all. Her father and Lu Zunyu had a very good relationship. Before the Warrior Sage Challenge tournament, her father had read the contract and proposed to amend it, so she signed it directly with the greatest trust. Jiang Lan sat down and took off the plush hat on her head. "Of course it's not against the contract. I'm not betting on my own match. Why should I care about others? That makes sense. I'll bet on Lu Qing too." Yi Yaoding was eager to have a try, planning to bet with her private money. Jiang Lan glanced at her and said, "You don't have to. After yesterday's 2 matches, everyone is optimistic about Lu Qing. The odds of betting on him now are very low. I'm just passing by." "That's true." Yi Yaoding nodded and restrained her thoughts. In yesterday's 2 matches, Lu Qing almost overthrew Wang Yi, who was a seeded player, while Tang Yu, who was struggling hard, failed to gain the upper hand against a former professional ninth pin fighter. The sharp contrast made the audience lean toward Lu Qing, and the corresponding odds changed accordingly. If this match is unexpected, those who bet on Tang Yu will make a lot of money. Jiang Lan sighed. But as a professional fighter, she was very confident in her own vision, especially when it was only a fight of body refining level. Road to the arena, Zhou Yuaning was adjusting his state, waiting for the next hard fight with Wang Yi, and watching the confrontation between Lu Qing and Tang Yu in the arena. "I hope Tang Yu can make Lu Qing consume more." He sighed. "Invincible punch," Jean Tao said with a strange expression, "consumption. After so many matches, I feel that Lu Qing is basically not consumed at all, or his physical strength is recovering very fast. He is a monster. Why wasn't he hurt by the iron palm yesterday? Haha. This kind of thing is hard to come by." Zhou Yuaning, with his past experience, showed a bit of calmness. "Don't worry. Today's match is in the morning, and tomorrow's is in the afternoon. That is to say, I have a whole day to recover. The disadvantage of physical strength will not be obvious in the first few minutes. I just hope I won't get hurt later." While the martial artists were discussing among themselves, the audience was cheering for Lu Qing. Some of them had watched Lu Qing's match the day before and felt sorry for him. Some of them were fans like Old Zheng, who Lu Qing had accumulated along the way. Most of them were people who had bet on Lu Qing to win. In the arena, Tang Yu looked at Lu Qing and showed a wry smile. "I watched your match yesterday and felt that I was completely defeated by your fighting style. It's so sad. But since I'm standing here, I can't easily admit defeat. I made some adjustments and changes, and I hope it will be useful." He seemed to be calm, as if he had set his own plan, but Lu Qing was not sure whether he deliberately disturbed his established plan to find an opportunity. Looking at this fat and heavy opponent, Lu Qing's expression didn't change. He smiled calmly and said, "Everyone has their own characteristics. What suits Wang Yi may not be completely suitable to deal with you. And my comprehensive strength is not as good as yours. It's just that my strengths are stronger and my weaknesses are weaker. It's natural for me to be powerful when I use my strengths to attack your weaknesses. Of course, I'll try my best to play to my strengths and not give you a chance to find my weaknesses," he said without any sharpness, but naturally overflowed with strong self-confidence. This confidence was accumulated from the battles and victories during these days. It was the confidence that he could still create a good chance to win in the battle with a professional ninth pin. Looking at Lu Qing like this, Tang Yu's momentum was broken. He was a little absent-minded and recalled the past. Once upon a time, he was so confident. Once upon a time, he relied on this body to sweep all the opponents below the amateur third pin like a rocket. However, the subsequent failures gradually made him lose his indestructible confidence. Although he still had the desire for victory, the belief to win the game, and the basic self-confidence, it was not strong enough and not tough enough. He often told himself that this was the inevitable result of life's training and the inevitable price to pay for maturity. But in his heart, he still envied this kind of flying and self-confidence. He didn't speak again, as if he wanted to borrow confidence from his past self, the confidence to kill God and Buddha. Start. The referee waved his right hand. Lu Qing moved. He approached Tang Yu with the snake steps. He adjusted his muscles so that his center of gravity was like Mercury, swaying in his body, making it impossible to judge which side he would eventually lean to. Tang Yu took a deep breath, lowered his waist, and put on a defensive posture. His long and thick arms spread out, like a sumo wrestler in the game Street Fighter. Rolling his center of gravity, Lu Qing suddenly changed his direction and stepped to the left side of Tang Yu's back like a ghost. His right palm shot out like lightning, with no trace of strength and no wind. Tang Yu didn't seem to notice it. He still put on a defensive posture and was about to be hit in the ribs by Lu Qing's cold palm. However, Lu Qing, who had a fierce battle with Wu Shitong, had an instinctive intuition and immediately understood what Tang Yu's adjusted fighting style was. Tang Yu wanted to take advantage of his thick fat and good at taking hits to resist his non-vital attacks and counterattack at the moment of hitting. In such a short distance, in such a quick battle, Lu Qing might not be able to dodge completely with mercurial balance in time. If he was a little careless, he would be hit by Tang Yu's terrible arms and thick legs. It was really not easy to bear. Chapter 58. A flash of inspiration illuminated Lu Qing's mind. He instantly grasped Tang Yu's thoughts and realized that his defensive posture was a trap. Except for the vital part, he didn't think about defense at all. After losing to Zhou Yuaning, Tang Yu no longer considered the problem of qualifying, but how to leave the warrior sage arena with dignity. Wang Yi was too strong, so he didn't have to think about it. He had to win this competition at the risk of injury. Lu Qing, who was known as the strongest fighter below professional ninth pin. While thinking, Lu Qing's heart was like an ice mirror. He didn't panic and suddenly broke out the hidden strength in his right palm. With a snap sound, his forearm shook and his palm bounced up like a snake's head and shot toward Tang Yu's face. His fingertips turned into sharp teeth and poked toward Tang Yu's temple. The whole process was unexpected and without warning. Many spectators instinctively clenched their fists. The coldness was not only fast and silent, but also everywhere, making it impossible to guard against. Lu Qing had never had a chance to use the change of chill to the bone before. He had never tried to detonate the hidden strength to change the direction of the move. Today, he finally had a chance to use it under Tang Yu's extreme fighting style. Tang Yu was surprised but didn't panic. He swung his left arm and blocked in front of him. He had watched the video of the 24 Blizzard Strikes competition many times and was familiar with such changes. He wouldn't be flustered because of it. However, he didn't expect Lu Qing to see through his intentions from the very beginning. Snap! Lu Qing's fingertips poked Tang Yu's arm, but it was soft like a piece of pork, with no wound. Tang Yu blocked with his left arm. Without turning sideways, he lowered his center of gravity and kicked out his left leg, tearing the air and stirring the wind. In this short moment, Lu Qing was like a violent giant elephant in front of him. It used a side kick to drive the whole force and trampled on him with condescending power. Tang Yu's kick had the power of Jin Tao's blast punch, which couldn't be blocked without mega avalanche and lightning and fire stance. Lu Qing didn't think about parrying, in case his center of gravity stopped flowing and he lost the best way to restrain his opponent. He adjusted his muscles and swung his center of gravity with the help of the rebound force. When Tang Yu kicked out from the side, he stepped to his back. If Tang Yu had not used his left arm to block the blow aimed at his temple, his side kick would have had a chance to hit him. Missing his target, Tang Yu withdrew his left leg and stood still. He didn't care that Lu Qing was behind him and didn't take the initiative to attack. He just waited passively like a human posture when practicing martial arts. While Lu Cheng's center of gravity was constantly swaying, he stretched his left arm and turned it into a long spear, pointing it at the back of Tang Yu's head. Even if he sacrificed a certain degree of strength, this position was still not something that Tang Yu could resist. Woo! Tang Yu seemed to be aware of it. He swung his right hand from front to back and then from up to down like a waving elephant trunk. The air whined and whipped at Lu Qing fiercely. His power was so terrifying that it was almost as powerful as Yi Yaoting's when she broke out. Elephant form. The elephant swung its trunk. Lu Qing bounced his center of gravity, moved his body, and drew an arc with his left hand to avoid the swing. He insisted not to fight head-on and treated Tang Yu as the weak Wang Yi. However, Wang Yi didn't have a thick layer of fat, so every time he attacked instead of defending, it consumed more physical strength. Of course, Tang Yu's burden was heavier because of his physique and figure. Once Lu Qing was pushed away from his back, Tang Yu immediately stopped and rearranged his posture. He didn't want to take the initiative to attack at all. In the case that he only needed to defend his vital parts, his choice was simple and didn't need to waste his brain. The consumption of physical strength would also be reduced correspondingly, and he would have some time to breathe and recover. The core of his fighting style today was one word: wear out. Tang Yu knew that he was not as good as Wang Yi in terms of accurate judgment and strong body coordination. He couldn't reduce the range of Lu Cheng's wandering, so he had to resort to this strategy. He was not confident that his physical strength was comparable to Lu Cheng's, but he thought that even if his opponent's physical strength was abnormal, it couldn't be infinite. Sooner or later, he would be tired. Lu Cheng's mercurial center of gravity was obviously several times more consuming than his steady defense posture, and the mental burden was also heavy. Unlike him, he only needed to consider a few vital parts. If this continued, even if his physical strength could be maintained, the degree of concentration related to mental strength would be reduced, and he couldn't keep his center of gravity all the time. At that time, Tang Yu's chance would come. In addition, Lu Cheng's performance in this challenge tournament was smooth, and he almost defeated Wang Yi of professional ninth pin before. Would he not look down on Tang Yu or feel good about himself when facing him? The other side of self-confidence was pride. As long as he couldn't win for a long time, he might become impatient, and then make mistakes. After making up his mind, Tang Yu calmed down and firmly defended, like a giant elephant firmly occupying the center of the land. Lu Qing kept wandering and attacking Tang Yu's vital parts, forcing Tang Yu to defend or beat him back by attacking. The two were in a stalemate, and there was no sign of a winner in a short time. The audience who didn't know the reason only thought that the two sides were fighting very well, one attacking and the other defending, colliding from time to time, and the winner could be decided at any time. They couldn't help but worry about the result of the game, and kept shouting and cheering. Yi Yaoting yawned and said in boredom, "When will they stop? Is this a martial arts competition or an endurance competition? There is no other way." Lu Cheng's style completely restrains Tang Yu, and the gap between their comprehensive strength is nothing. Tang Yu can only respond in this way. Jiang Lan held her mobile phone and glanced at the arena from time to time. Yi Yaoting wanted to collapse, but sighed and said, "It seems that Wu Shitong is very smart. His style is similar to Tang Yu's." If he didn't set a trap for Lu Qing in that game, Tang Yu would be in the current situation, and the martial arts competition would become an endurance competition. Unfortunately, he overreached himself. You can look forward to the next game. Zhou Yuaning is good at wuthering 8 movements, and is good at agility and elegance. If Lu Qing shows this immature mercurial balance, he will only fall into his trap. Jiang Lan smiled. Different styles have different restraints. Time passed. After 15 minutes, Tang Yu still defended steadily, but with his physique, he also consumed a lot of energy. He panted slightly and saw Lu Qing wandering to his side. Lu Cheng's eyes were deep and calm, without any impatience, and his breathing rhythm was normal, as if his physical strength was at its peak. How could this be? Tang Yu was frightened. Before he had time to think, Lu Qing had moved his position, and directly hit his eye socket with abrupt strength. It was impossible to sacrifice his eyes for such a battle of honor, so Tang Yu put his elbow in front of his eyes and blocked the punch. Bang! In the sound of the collision, Tang Yu clenched his left hand into a fist and turned it into an elephant leg. He twisted the strength of his whole body and hit out. From top to bottom, the trampling power seemed to be able to trample the enemy in front of him into a meat pie. It was foreseeable that his opponent would dodge this attack and go to another direction. At this moment, Tang Yu's eyes were fixed on Lu Qing. He saw Lu Cheng's body stop, lower his waist and lower his legs to stabilize his center of gravity. In Lu Cheng's mind, the majestic snow mountain, which had accumulated hundreds of thousands of years of power, suddenly collapsed, complemented with the lighting that illuminated everything, rolling forward and swallowing everything. Lightning and fire stance. Mega avalanche. Bang! Lu Cheng's right hand fiercely hit out, blocking Tang Yu's trampling attack, and his body only slightly lowered. Did he block my attack? He actually managed to block my attack. Tang Yu, who was quite confident in his own strength, was shocked, but then he immediately realized that he had consumed too much energy and his strength had weakened a lot. It can't go on like this. Lu Qing didn't show any sign of fatigue at all. Tang Yu gritted his teeth and made a decision. Seizing the opportunity when Lu Qing stabilized his center of gravity, before he withdrew his left hand, he gathered all his strength and fiercely stamped on the ground, like a crazy wild elephant, trying to directly hit his opponent. Elephant form. Crazy elephant rush. When a giant elephant ran and hit, even tigers, lions, and wild bears had to avoid it. It was true that they would die if they touched it and get hurt if they grazed it. Under such a huge momentum, the ground of the arena was slightly shaking, but Lu Cheng's eyes were unusually calm, as if he had expected it. Instead of dodging, he moved forward and grabbed Tang Yu's left arm that had not been completely withdrawn. In a split second, he turned around, lowered his body, and took advantage of the momentum to pull forward. With the strength of his own forward collision and the skillful force of Lu Cheng's imitation of a throw, Tang Yu flew up and over his opponent. The giant elephant's center of gravity was stable and difficult to shake, but once there was a change, it would be difficult to adjust again because of the terrible inertia. Tang Yu tried to control himself, but failed. With a bang, he fell to the ground, hard on the ground. While he was dizzy, he heard the referee announce loudly, "Lu Qing wins." Then, he saw Lu Qing take back one of his feet. Shaking his head, Tang Yu stood up, only to see Lu Qing opposite him smile and say, "To be honest, I have never seen anyone take the initiative to compete with me in terms of stamina consumption. His courage is really commendable." Hearing the words and seeing that Lu Qing was so calm without any fatigue, Tang Yu really wanted to vomit blood. With all kinds of emotions surging, he blurted out, "Don't you feel tired?" "Of course." Lu Qing said sincerely, "If you hold on for half an hour, I can't hold on anymore." "Half an hour?" Tang Yu twitched his mouth and turned to leave, with an expression that he was about to cry. "Hold on for half an hour? You'd better kill me." Looking at his back, Lu Qing couldn't help but criticize in his heart, "I didn't lie to you. My energy can only hold on for half an hour." There is a difference between practice and actual combat. Of course, in terms of pure physical strength, I can fight another 100 games. The restraint of his fighting style made it relatively easy for him to win. In the stands, cheers and applause rang out everywhere. They were enthusiastic about the wonderful battle just now. "I don't understand. Why don't they watch the extreme long-distance race? Yi Yaoting rubbed the tip of her nose and complained about the appreciation level of the audience. In the second round of the fourth group, Lu Qing finally ushered in the victory. He walked back from the edge of the cliff and saw the hope of entering the top 16. Chapter 59. Taking back his personal belongings from the competition supervision office, Lu Qing walked down the stone steps to the locker room. He planned to take a shower and change his underwear first. Although he was not tired from the endurance battle, he was sweaty all over. Along the way, the applause and cheers of the audience were still lingering. It seemed that the name Lu Qing was reverberating, as if they were welcoming the general's triumphant return. Lu Qing slightly narrowed his eyes, very satisfied with this scene and enjoyed this feeling very much. This was the taste of victory. The only thing that made him feel a little guilty was that after all, he still relied on the Jindan. He hoped to completely control it as soon as possible and completely make it his own. When he stepped into the locker room, Lu Qing had already unlocked his mobile phone and logged into QQ. He sent a message to Yan Zhika with a laughing emoji. Mission completed. After doing all this, he quickly took a battle bath and hurried outside. Road to the arena, Zhou Yuaning and Wang Ye's match was about to begin, and the former was his last challenge to reach the top 16. Of course, it was also the second biggest challenge after Wang Yi. On the way, he saw that Yan Zhika had already sent a reply. A leisurely monkey wagging its tail and showing a red heart said, "Good. You can beat a master of amateur first pin steadily. Even if you are restrained by the fighting style, it shows that you have a similar level. What should I do, Qing? I'm jealous of you. Let me beat you up when school starts." "No problem, I'll lie down and let you beat me up." Lu Qing smiled and answered without hesitation. At the same time, he said silently in his heart, "Beating is affection, scolding is love. Don't lie to me, I can't beat you now, poor." Yan Zhika replied in a joking tone, "You should carefully study Zhou Yuaning's battle first. I'll go to the official website and check the video of your battle just now." Lu Qing sent a sweat-wiping emoji, "Nothing to see. It's an endurance battle between mercurial balance and focus on defense. Just go ahead and watch the beginning and the end." While replying, he found the guest seat and sat down. In the ring, after a short program to liven things up, Wang Yi and Zhou Yuaning entered the conversation time. The big screen broadcasted their every move and verbal confrontation to the audience. Before the match started, Yan Zhika had finished watching the video and sent a yawning emoji. The same guerrilla combat with mercurial balance. Why was it so exciting yesterday and so boring today? But your last close-range throw was really good. If you had been a little slower, you would have been hit by Tang Yu. Even if you didn't get hurt, you would have fainted for a short time. It felt a little risky. How would I dare to try if I wasn't sure? Seeing that his pride was seen through by his beloved girl, Lu Qing suddenly became more excited. As for whether it's interesting or boring, it all depends on the opponent's choice. It has nothing to do with me. Yan Zhika immediately replied, "But their choices are all because you are heartless, cold, and unreasonable, Kung face." Lu Qing couldn't help but laugh. His eyebrows and eyes were filled with joy. If little Ming were here, he would probably say that this wasn't joy, but lust. Zhou Yuaning's match is about to start. He saw the referee looking at the electronic clock. Yan Zhika sent an emoji of an onion pushing up her sunglasses and said, "Look good. I've also prepared several videos of Wuthering 8 movements for you. You can study them in the afternoon. I asked my grandpa to recommend them. Thank grandpa for me." Lu Qing shamelessly called grandpa in his mind and felt warm in his heart. He snickered and said, "You've already prepared them? No wonder you're the best coach. It's hard to repay your kindness. I must enter the top 16. The prize money is waiting for me. By the way, thank your grandpa for me." At this time, he completely forgot about his real master, Geezer. Yenjika sent a proud emoji with shining teeth. It's good that you know my kindness. You seem to value the prize money very much? Of course. With the prize money, I can treat you to a better meal. Lu Qing deliberately said a little ambiguously. This wasn't a suggestion from Kai Zongming, who was guiding them from the sidelines. Instead, it was his own realization. He felt that the relationship between the two of them had improved significantly after the Great Ant incident. Therefore, he had to add a little more ambiguity. Otherwise, their relationship would evolve into a best friend, which would be a complete tragedy. After more than 10 seconds, Yenjika sent a proud smile emoji. At least you have a conscience. In the arena, the match had already started. Zhou Yuaning undoubtedly chose to fight with guerrilla warfare. He was like an unpredictable and unruly wind blowing around Wang Yi. It was hard to judge left and right. He was flexible and fast. When he seized the opportunity, he quickly approached and attacked firmly without hesitation. When he missed, he immediately fled. Facing such an enemy, Wang Yi could not take the initiative to attack like he did to Lu Qing, who was not fast enough and agile enough. He could only rely on the judgment of moves and his own coordination to reduce the enemy's range of movement. Therefore, he put on the posture of Tang Yu and firmly defended and counterattacked. Unlike Tang Yu, Wang Ye's vision and experience were powerful. Even if he couldn't only defend a few key points, he still calmly resolved Zhou Yuaning's attack again and again. He even almost relied on back thrust and horse kick to hit the opponent and win. Seeing that the match was in a stalemate, Lu Qing replied to a QQ message to Yenjika. I'm watching the match. I found that the guerrilla warfare of mercurial balance is not enough to face Zhou Yuaning's wuthering 8 movements. I have to change my fighting style and take advantage of other advantages. The previous full-arm boxing master was defeated by you before he could do anything. This is the first time you really face an enemy with guerrilla warfare. It's also a rare experience accumulation. Yenjika snickered and teased Lu Qing with the bold words he said before the match between him and Wu Shitong. At that time, Lu Qing said, in life, you will definitely meet an enemy that you don't know, but the opponent knows. This match will enrich my experience. Before he could reply, Yenjika sent another message. I've checked a few gambling websites, and there are bets between you and Zhou Yuaning. Your odds are 1-2, and his is 1-1. 5. This means that the professionals think the gap between you two is not big. This, because Lu Qing had told her about the integrity competition, she had been curiously paying attention to Lu Qing's odds for the past 2 days. Not only for a single competition, but also for entering the top 16, top 8, and even winning the championship. For example, the odds for Lu Qing to win the championship was 1/565. In other words, it was almost impossible. If he really did create a miracle, even if he only bet 100 yuan, he could still win 56,500 yuan, not counting other things. Of course, the bets of such small matches were all in remote corners of the websites. Ordinary people could not find them at all unless they were professional gamblers or attentive followers. Well, the gap is so small. Lu Qing was also surprised. Based on his own feeling, road to the arena, Zhou Yuaning was much better than him. He watched the match while waiting for Yenjika's reply. After a while, Yenjika said, I've read the comments. It seems that many people are worried that Zhou Yuaning will be injured in the match with Wang Yi. After this match, the odds will change. I see. My little heart is beating fast. Lu Qing replied humorously. Yenjika sent a laughing emoji. You are getting more and more funny. Oh right, I was chatting in my class group just now. In high school, someone said that he met a martial arts genius who started to practice martial arts at the age of 17, and reached the professional 9th pin at the age of 19. It was really enviable. I have a friend who started to practice martial arts at the age of 18. He could beat an amateur first pin in 4 months, and could reach the professional 9th pin in less than a year. None of them believed me. They said that I was lying, that I was making up stories, that I became bad after I entered university, that I was no longer pure and cute, but what I said was the truth. Kong hand. Lu Cheng was overjoyed. Yan Jika subconsciously thought that his progress in martial arts was worth showing off. It was really a happy thing. And he also pretended to be bad *SS in the next class. It couldn't be more perfect. If it wasn't me, I wouldn't believe your description either. I would only ask if he had supernatural powers or if there was anything special about him, such as the reincarnation of the living Buddha. Lu Qing praised himself without leaving a trace. Yan Jika covered her mouth and laughed. They asked me the same question at first. I said no, I just have a talent for meditation and relatively abnormal physical strength. Then they said I was bragging and making up stories. Luckily I didn't say it was Lu Qing in the next class. I'll show them one day. Lu Qing snickered. Suddenly, he thought of something and pretended to ask a question that he had wanted to ask for a long time. Didn't anyone help you? Did anyone in your class chase after you? Yan Jika was a girl with good character, good temperament and good looks. She should never be short of suitors and secret admirers. After sending the message, Lu Cheng's heart beat faster. He was afraid that he would see some bad news. He was so worried that he didn't even pay attention to the competition. Dozens of seconds later, Yan Jika replied with a dazed expression. My cousin gave me a nickname. What kind of answer is this? Lu Qing asked in confusion, what nickname? Classmate killer. Yan Jika replied with an emoji of squatting in the corner and drawing circles. I didn't want to. In high school, there were about 10 boys in our class and other classes who confessed to me and wrote love letters to me. There were also many boys in middle school. So it's called classmate killer. Pfft, so many. Lu Qing felt the popularity of Yan Jika for the first time. He replied with a sneering emoji, there should be more who didn't dare to confess and wrote love letters. For example, me at that time. Yan Jika sent a sighing emoji. I basically only played with girls, but still. It's better not to have rotten peach blossoms. Hearing this, Lu Qing was relieved. But he was confused about whether he was classified as rotten peach blossoms. He replied with a touching head emoji, don't worry about that nickname. You are still a student. Most of your friends must be classmates. You didn't do it on purpose. I am also a classmate, yes, yes. Yan Jika replied with a nodding emoji. Just when Lu Qing wanted to ask further about Yan Jika's current suitors to figure out her potential love rivals, the battle between Wang Yi and Zhou Yuaning entered a white-hot stage. Wang Ye's defense was very stable. Even if there was a little negligence, he used iron palm to force Zhou Yuaning to retreat at the cost of a small wound. Seeing that he couldn't defeat Wang Yi after a long time, Road to the Arena tried his last crazy attack. He activated the fearsome hurricane and attacked Wang Yi continuously. It was as if a tornado had been set off around Wang Yi. Every attack of his was almost as powerful as Jin Tao's blast punch, and it was continuous. It showed that the level of professional ninth pin was not just for show. Wang Yi countered every move, attacking instead of defending. The sound of collision between the two was endless, with a faint metallic texture. Dozens of seconds later, with a muffled sound, the two figures separated. Zhou Yuaning stepped back a few steps, his hands trembling as if he wanted to get rid of the pain. But Wang Yi didn't show any abnormality. He stepped forward and hit again. Zhou Yuaning took a deep breath and tried to dodge with footwork. But he couldn't continue and was hit by Wang Ye's palm on his back. Wang Yi wins. The referee announced the result. This was expected, so Lu Cheng was not surprised. But when he saw Zhou Yuaning's hands gradually return to normal, as if he was not injured, he was both regretful and happy. Regretful that Zhou Yuaning was not injured, happy that Zhou Yuaning was not injured. While thinking, he saw Zhou Yuaning looking at the stand, looking at him. For eyes met, as if sparks were flashing. Tomorrow's battle, let's see who has the ability. Chapter 60. Looking at each other from a distance, Lu Cheng's heart was suddenly filled with a strong desire to fight, and the original regret disappeared. Yes, Zhou Yuaning had abandoned martial arts for several years, and he was no longer as victorious as before. In addition, he had consumed his strength and accumulated fatigue in the tight schedule of 1 or even 2 fights a day, which could not be fully recovered in a short time. Under such circumstances, he dared not to face him and challenge him openly. Did he have to put his hope on Wang Yi injuring him? No. This was not the fight he longed for. Fortunately, he was not injured. Otherwise, even if he appeared and got the prize money, he would be full of regret, feeling that he had taken up free ride from Wang Yi to succeed in breaking through. Fighting to one's heart's content, stepping over enemies of sufficient strength, and striding into the top 16 with one's head held high, this was the scene that he desired, the martial path that he pursued. If he lost, it could only mean that he did not have the strength, and he needed to review and make up for it. He would make a comeback in the future and prove what he had learned. The prize money was very important, but this was not the only way to earn money. He could not reverse the order of things. After thinking about this, Lu Cheng's many distracting thoughts faded away. He looked at Zhou Yuaning's eyes without a trace of cowardice or guilt. His body trembled slightly as if blood was flowing through his body. Looking at Lu Cheng in the guest seat, rode to the arena, Zhou Yuaning felt that his eyes were firm and sharp, like an unsheathed sword, which made people not dare to look directly at him. I missed the feeling when I was in the professional martial arts circle. Zhou Yuaning whispered, and the desire to fight in his eyes grew stronger. Looking back, Lu Cheng took a breath and calmed his blood. Then he picked up the phone and sent the question he wanted to ask just now. He said to Yan Zhika with a smirk, "How many pursuers do you have now?" The prize money was not as important as the competition itself, but the competition tomorrow seemed to be less important than this. Yan Zhika replied with an emoji of lowering head and counting fingers, "I'm pretty sure there are 4. Lu Cheng was shocked. This was a pretty sure number. However, considering Yan Zhika's popularity, 4 was actually not a lot. The biggest question was whether he was included in the 4. What did she think of him? What was her position? For a moment, Lu Cheng was a little worried. He pretended to be normal and said, "It's less than I thought." "Who are they?" "Because most of them stopped looking for me after I rejected them, so it doesn't count as them still pursuing me." Yan Zhika replied. "Not bad, I like how you reject people so straightforwardly." "Of course, don't reject me." Lu Cheng prayed to himself. So these 4 are the ones who keep fighting despite repeated defeats? There are also things that I didn't say clearly. I can't take the initiative to say no, right? How embarrassing and awkward would that be? What if there's a misunderstanding? We can only keep our distance and minimize contact. Yan Zhika sent a sighing onion. I'm the one who didn't make it clear. But judging from our recent conversations, she didn't keep a distance from me or reduce our contact. Lu Cheng felt sad at first, but then he felt happy as if he had seen the dawn of victory. Of course, it was also possible that she didn't realize that I was pursuing her. Lu Cheng's mind was full of ups and downs. He controlled his emotions and didn't let them show in his words. He sent another message, there must be high school classmates among the ones who keep fighting despite repeated defeats. Manual smiley face, yeah, there's one. If it weren't for the fact that he's my classmate, I would have blacklisted him. Now, he's always invisible on QQ. He'll never pretend to be online. Yan Zhika said with a crying face emoji. Lu Cheng replied happily, luckily he's not in Songcheng, or you'll be in trouble. There are 2 in Songcheng. Luckily, one of them is my senior, so our schedules don't overlap. When I'm free, I'll be in the martial arts club. Since the other one didn't say anything, I'll pretend I don't know and try not to contact him. Otherwise, it'll be really annoying. Yan Zhika sent a dumbfounded emoji. Being too popular also has its troubles. Lu Cheng replied. He was happy to know more about Yan Zhika's love life. Yan Zhika sent a leisurely monkey emoji. Yeah, a bunch of rotten peach blossoms. What about the other one? He also didn't say clearly. Lu Qing wouldn't let go of any information about his potential love rival. Yenjika sent a thinking monkey emoji. Why are you asking so many questions? Damn, I've violated the taboo of Little Ming. Don't make girls feel like you're investigating me. Lu Qing gave a hollow laugh and pretended to be normal. I'm just asking casually. I have no experience in love and no girl to pursue me. It's natural for me to be curious. He took the opportunity to praise himself again. There's no history in love. Yenjika sent a smirk emoji. Someone once said that you can't trust a man when he's bragging. She used Lu Cheng's words yesterday to tease him. Really? Look at my sincere eyes. Lu Cheng sent a dog emoji with thick eyebrows and big eyes. Okay, I'll trust you for now. Yenjika sent a covering mouth emoji and laughed. As for the other one, there's nothing to say. He's been cruelly rejected by me several times. He rarely comes to me recently. Not bad, not bad. That's how it should be. Lu Qing gave Yenjika a thumbs up. Just as Little Ming had predicted, she was a very difficult girl to pursue. Otherwise, she would have had a boyfriend long ago. This was both a good and a bad thing. The good thing was that he didn't have to worry about his love rival. The bad thing was that he might not be able to pursue her and would be cruelly rejected. She just said that there were only 4 suitors, but it seemed that she didn't include me. Did she really not notice it, or did she find something and deliberately didn't mention it because she was chatting with me? Lu Qing didn't have the confidence to delve into this topic. He changed the topic and said, I'm going back to the hotel to focus on the battle tomorrow afternoon. For the prize money. For you to have a better meal. Hey, let me know when you get to the hotel. I'll send you the video recommended by my grandpa. Yenjika sent a laughing emoji. Lu Qing spent the whole afternoon and evening watching the video, talking with Yenjika about Wuthering 8 movements, and practicing in the small park. He gradually formed an idea in his mind. The guerrilla tactics are completely restrained by Wuthering 8 movements. I can't rely on mercurial balance this time. I have to change the way I play in the previous 2 matches. Lu Qing said to Yenjika. Yenjika sent an emoji with her hands crossed and said, Wuthering 8 movements continuous attacks are very strong and difficult to defend. Although you have improved quickly, you still lack actual combat experience. If you use Tang Yu's or Wang Ye's fighting style, I'm afraid you can't hold on until his strength is exhausted. If you use offense instead of defense, he can run away immediately. In short, it's very difficult to deal with him. I saw the discussion between Road to the Arena and others in the BBS. I found that they were prepared for all my strengths and were making changes, such as using abrupt force and rapid force. I was wondering if Zhou Yuaning would expose some problems when he used a fighting style that he wasn't used to, especially when he was attacking. Lu Qing poured out some vague thoughts in order to clear up his thoughts. After all, the battle was changing rapidly, and the initial plan might not be useful. It was always right to make more plans. They discussed for a long time until 10:30. Lu Qing was ready to go to bed and practice the fighting style in the morning. Qing, don't look at the BBS of Longhu Club before the match. It's easy to be disturbed by other people's comments and be influenced by those who don't like you, which will cause mental and emotional problems. Yenjika especially reminded him one good night. Don't worry, I'll restrain myself. By the way, what's the odds now? Lu Qing asked. Yenjika sent an emoji with a snicker and said, his odds are 1-1. 3, yours is 1-3. The pressure is on him. This is the odds including the principal. It shows that most people still think there is a big gap between me and Zhou Yuaning. Lu Qing exited QQ and closed his eyes. 1-1. 3-1-3. The next afternoon, Zheng and his companions stood in front of the betting station, looking at the odds of the match between Lu Qing and Zhou Yuaning. One of his companions laughed and said, "Then I'll bet 200 yuan on Zhou Yuaning. If Lu Qing wins, I'll lose money in exchange for happiness. If Lu Qing loses, I'll have money to comfort my soul." Good idea. Zheng's companions all expressed their agreement. After that, they all looked at Zheng, who had not moved all the time. "Zheng, you don't want to bet?" Zheng thought for a while and said, "I still want to bet 100 or 200 yuan on Lu Qing to win." "Do you think he can win?" He had a chance to win the match with Wang Yi because of his careful arrangement. But it can't happen again. Once the trick is seen through, it will be useless. His companions advised. "Maybe. Anyway, it's only 100 yuan. Just take it as the ticket for the challenge tournament." Zheng took out his wallet and joked, "You can also bet on Lu Qing to win. If he makes an upset, you can lose less." "Sister Lan, you don't want to bet?" Yi Yaoting took out 10 100 yuan notes. Jiang Lan thought for a while and said, "I'm not sure. I'd better not bet." "How can you not be sure?" Zhou Yuaning's fighting style can restrain Lu Qing, and there is a gap between their comprehensive strength. Yi Yaoting asked in surprise. Jiang Lan shook her head and said, "But Zhou Yuaning's problems and shortcomings are also obvious." "Then I'll bet on myself." Yi Yaoting was very confident. "Senior brother, you actually bet on Lu Qing to win?" Qin Jilin looked at Lu Yinglong in surprise. Lu Yinglong was also a young man. He smiled and said, "Just take it as his reward for helping us gain a lot in these matches. Let's see if there is a miracle." In several betting stations, similar conversations happened from time to time. The odds were still slightly adjusted, and the tone was still optimistic about Zhou Yuaning. Master Road, the first match is in the afternoon. Invincible Punch, Jin Tao, and Road to the Arena, Zhou Yuaning walked side by side to the martial arts stadium. Zhou Yuaning exhaled and said, "Good, we don't have to wait." Seeing Jin Tao's mobile phone screen was still shining, he asked, "What did the live broadcast post say?" Jin Tao laughed and said, "Cao said that Lu Cheng's strength is not as good as that of an amateur first pin, so you don't have to worry about him. Cao said that Lu Cheng was just lucky to be able to fight Wang Yi to that extent. Old Dragon, the plumber, and pig-riding uncle all want you to use your collective wisdom. Little Wonton and Shallow Sea Blue said that if Master Road loses, you have to expose your nipples and take photos." That little girl Brahmin first shouted for support, then asked for photos. "Hey!" Zhou Yuaning laughed and pulled his sleeves. "Help me reply that I appreciate everyone's support and will live up to their expectations. In the name of taking photos. As for the little girl, tell her that if I win, I'll take a photo with her new idol as the winner." While talking, the two entered the stadium, which was full of people. In the locker room, Lu Qing opened his eyes. His eyes were deep and calm. He looked at the digital clock and saw that there were still a few minutes before the start of the match. He stood up and stretched his body. Then he took out his mobile phone, logged on QQ and sent a message to Yenjika, "It's time for the match." Yenjika quickly replied. "What song do you want to listen to?" Lu Qing was delighted and snickered, "You still remember." Before the match with Tangyu, he had asked Yenjika to sing a song to cheer him on in the last match of the group competition. "Tell me what song. Or I'll back out." Yenjika replied. Lu Qing thought for a while and typed with a smile, "Chase your dreams with a childlike heart, the climax." After waiting for a while, a long voice message came in. He clicked it open and heard Yenjika's clear and familiar female voice singing, "Run forward, facing the cold eyes and ridicule. How can you feel the vastness of life without suffering? Fate can't make us kneel and beg for mercy even if blood is shed in the arms. Keep running, with the childlike pride. How can you see the brilliance of life without perseverance? Instead of lingering on, why not burn heartily? One day it will sprout again." Listening to the song, Lu Qing opened the door of the locker room. Then burn heartily. Chapter 61. Lu Qing had already walked the path from the locker room to the ring twice. It seemed that he could imagine his surroundings even with his eyes closed. More and more spectators, crowds of people, trumpets to create atmosphere and play for children, lights to illuminate the dim winter day, cameras set up everywhere, and the bluestone field that symbolized all the glory of a martial artist in the middle of all this clutter. No one is the best in literature, no one is the second best in martial arts. Not convinced? Then let's fight. Lu Qing stepped on the stone steps and the scenes after waking up in the morning suddenly appeared in his mind. His hotel room was only booked until today. His train home was at 8:00 in the evening. The front desk called to remind him to check out at noon and politely said that there was no room available and that he couldn't renew the lease. He put away his laptop, mouse, charger, etc. one by one, put on the Longhu Club martial arts suit that was finally dry, and put the clothes he took off into a bag and stuffed it into a big backpack. After doing all this, he carefully patrolled the room again in case he missed anything. The things that belonged to him in the room were all returned to his backpack. After living here for a few days, the familiar place once again became unfamiliar to him. However, he would not forget this place. He would definitely leave a corner for it in his memories, because it had witnessed his transformation day by day. It had witnessed his first rebirth on the path of martial arts cultivation. It had witnessed the first time in his life that he had ventured into a foreign land alone. Carrying the big backpack, he took one last look at the room and closed the door. He took the room card and went to the front desk to check out. From now on, he only had this last challenge tournament to tie him to Yenling. From this moment on, other than the bank card and mobile phone, all he had left was the money for dinner and a bus ticket to go home. Now, his backpack was in the locker room cabinet. After this battle, should he take the train and leave Yenling as planned? Or should he break through the obstacles, get the prize money, change the train ticket, and move to a better hotel? Lu Cheng's thoughts fluctuated. He only felt that he was now a different person from when he planned to come to Yenling for the competition. From the level of martial arts to the maturity of his mind, he was a real martial artist. He stopped at the left side of the ring and watched Zhou Yuaning come out from the other locker room. He watched him step on the brilliant lights, bathed in the light, and walked step by step up the stone steps to his opponent's position. Would he be his last opponent in this year's arena tournament, or would he become a stepping stone that would help him take a step forward and face even more powerful enemies? All his thoughts slowly settled down. Yenjika's voice echoed in his ears. He felt nervous and excited at the same time. More importantly, he felt the boiling blood of facing the challenge of a strong enemy. He took the initiative to speak. "I'm glad you weren't injured by Wang Yi." His voice was low and magnetic. When Zhou Yuaning heard it, he was obviously stunned. He seemed to feel Lu Cheng's strong fighting spirit and fearless confidence. "I'm also very happy to be able to fight you at your peak." Zhou Yuaning responded with a smile and looked straight into Lu Cheng's eyes. "Defeating you like this may be my biggest gain in this competition, more than the prize money I can get." Lu Cheng didn't have the habit of provoking and verbal confrontation. After expressing his true thoughts, he returned to silence. His mind went over his original plan for the last time. After 6 days and 7 battles, road to the arena, Zhou Yuaning's physical strength problem was quite obvious. For a martial artist with guerrilla fighting style, it was equivalent to losing half of his leg. When his abnormal physical strength was well known in Yenling, he would never take the initiative to adopt a similar strategy and wait for the opportunity to lose. At most, he would open up the distance when Lu Cheng was rising and disrupt the rhythm. In other words, Zhou Yuaning would rely on speed, agility and footwork to madly attack with furious wind, tornado wind and so on to create great pressure on Lu Cheng, forcing him to make mistakes and show flaws. Lu Cheng only had a few battles of actual combat experience, and he had been avoiding the pressure test. He had almost never carried out a simple defense that he couldn't get rid of. He either wandered around and looked for opportunities, or took the initiative to attack and suppress the opponent. Even if his experience was not zero, it was not much worse. In this case, the result could be imagined. Zhou Yuaning's strategy is basically certain, but how did he judge my choice? Lu Cheng made a reverse thought. From the live broadcast post on the Longhu Club forum, they all thought that he would use the mercurial balance to wander around and fight, so they let Zhou Yuaning use the flexibility of Wuthering 8 movements to reduce his range of movement, forcing him to meet force with force and be under the pressure of crazy attacks. Similarly, Zhou Yuaning judged that he had another choice based on his battle with Jin Tao, the invincible punch, which was to rely on his abnormal physical strength to attack instead of defense. He would use brutal blizzard to suppress the opponent and not give him a chance to fight back. He would try his best to delay time and wait for the bell of victory. For these two strategies, he should be prepared and able to judge on the spot. Maybe I can use this idea to guide him. Lu Qing collected his thoughts and began to conceal his spirit and qi in order to enter meditation. All kinds of distracting thoughts were eliminated. He seemed to be in the quietest world. The shouts and trumpets around him were so far away but so clear, complementing the nearby sound of wind and breathing. Begin. The referee announced the start of the last afternoon match of the group stage. As soon as he finished speaking, Zhou Yuaning moved his waist and back, as if there was a wind in his body, pushing him toward Lu Qing in a swift and violent manner. The distance between them was really close in the blink of an eye. Such speed and such agility were only a little worse than Yi Yaoting's leopard form. And this was Zhou Yuaning's performance after a few years of neglect. If he was in his heyday, he would be terrifying. Lu Qing was on full alert, swaying his center of gravity. When Zhou Yuaning roared out, he bounced his spine, like a dragon soaring to the sky, and suddenly flashed to the left, the standard, mercurial center of gravity, fighting style. Such a response was within Zhou Yuaning's expectation. He tiptoed and his body turned a small arc, elegantly and quickly catching up with Lu Qing. Wuthering 8 movements. Unruly wind. Lu Qing had just made the beginning of the fighting style when his center of gravity suddenly sank, visualizing numerous snowy peaks in his mind. Boom! Lightning struck, the silver light was shining, setting off a prairie fire, shaking hundreds of millions of kilograms of snow. Boom! Big snow mountain avalanche. Lu Cheng's left shoulder sank and his feet stepped forward. Instead of dodging, he rushed toward road to the arena, Zhou Yuaning. Like an overwhelming white torrent, Lu Cheng's momentum was so fierce that many spectators exclaimed. He made the mercurial balance dodge to let his opponent think that he would use the fighting style of fighting. Once he approached, he would immediately counterattack with the fiercest blizzard and the most terrible avalanche. Facing this, Zhou Yuaning, like an invisible wind, suddenly stopped. Like a high-speed horse, he suddenly stood up, as if he had lost the shackles of the basic law of inertia. He stopped and then bounced again. He rose again and roared forward. The accumulated and compressed inertia just now turned into a terrible explosion, stirring up the airflow and making strange sounds. Whoosh! The two collided and strange sounds splashed. Lu Cheng was like being rolled in a hurricane. His strength was offset and his center of gravity was shaken, so he had to take 2 steps back. Zhou Yuaning took a little step back and then bounced out again, circling to Lu Cheng's side. Wuthering 8 movements, terrible hurricane. Bam! Zhou Yuaning shook his right arm and made an abrupt force, slashing toward Lu Cheng's neck with his palm. Lu Cheng had just stabilized his body and didn't have time to adjust his center of gravity. He raised his left arm and blocked the blow. He just wanted to borrow some strength from his opponent to hear some movement, but he felt that the force was like a gunpowder explosion, short, crisp, and explosive. He couldn't borrow or hear it. Bam! Zhou Yuaning moved quickly and circled to Lu Cheng's back, punching with abrupt force with his left fist. Lu Cheng twisted his waist and back, pushing his body to one side to avoid the blow. He straightened his legs and feet, like a fierce soft whip, sweeping backward. Zhou Yuaning's body bounced again. Following the sweeping momentum, he avoided the kick at an extremely fast speed. He was still behind Lu Cheng. Bam! Bam! He punched, kicked, elbowed, and chopped with palms. He used every part of his body alternately, like a tornado, and began to attack Lu Cheng continuously. During this process, Lu Qing really felt tired. He had just blocked a palm, but his opponent had changed his position and punched again. If he hadn't swayed his opponent several times with his mercurial balance, he was afraid that he wouldn't have been able to withstand it. If it went on like this, he would use invisible wind and abrupt force alternately to attack to confuse his judgment, which would be troublesome. At that time, he would inevitably lose sight of one thing and lose sight of the other. He clearly anticipated Zhou Yuaning's fighting style and made countermeasures, but he still fell into such a situation. It could only be said that the gap between their strength was really big. At this moment, in Lu Cheng's frozen heart lake, a ripple suddenly appeared, and the muscles on his back felt a burst of strength. Not good. Zhou Yuaning had really mixed a silent palm into his 1-inch punch. Lu Qing didn't have time to think carefully. According to his fighting instinct, he suddenly fell forward, so that his upper body and Zhou Yuaning's palm were separated. His left leg took advantage of the situation, and with a strong wind, he half-turned his body and kicked at his opponent, forcing Zhou Yuaning to withdraw his palm and dodge. Adjusting his muscles and changing his center of gravity, Lu Qing maintained his balance. When his left leg fell, he straightened his back and steadied himself again. His right fist was ready to attack, guarding against Zhou Yuaning's following attack. He felt a burning pain on his back. Obviously, he had been hit by a palm, but he dodged forward in time, so he didn't get hit. He wasn't injured, just bruised or swollen. Fortunately, my reaction was fast enough. Lu Qing felt lucky, but Zhou Yuaning didn't take advantage of the situation. Instead, he retreated a few steps back, creating a distance, and made a long and heavy breathing sound. Why didn't he continue to put pressure on me? In the situation just now, I'm afraid I can't hold on for a few more times. Right, Yan Zhika mentioned that unlike Brutal Blizzard, which relies on listening and breathing to complete continuous attacks, Whirlwind of Wuthering 8 movements uses one breath to make continuous attacks to ensure speed and consistency. When you need to take a breath, you can use your body movement to create distance and quickly finish breathing. It's a characteristic of Wuthering 8 movements. Just now, it's not that Zhou Yuaning didn't want to continue to attack, but that he had reached the limit of this wave. While thinking, Lu Qing wanted to take the initiative to attack, but when he just closed the distance, Zhou Yuaning had finished adjusting and turned into a gust of wind again. This made him think, with Zhou Yuaning's physical strength, he could at most support 5 rounds of attacks like just now, but it was so difficult for him to block 1 round. Could he hold on for a few more rounds? P.S. Now that I'm off the new book list, the opportunity to show my face on the homepage is more important. Please support me with your recommendation votes. This chapter will be updated in advance, and the second one will be updated at noon. Chapter 62. On the stand, Yi Yaoting clapped her hands and said regretfully, "What a pity." Zhou Yuaning was about to win and make himself a small amount of pocket money. He didn't expect Lu Qing to be so smart and take advantage of the situation to protect himself. Jiang Lan sighed next to her. It's really a pity that Zhou Yuaning didn't seize this opportunity. He is still too cautious and neglected for many years. What he lost was not only physical strength and proficiency, but also the spirit in his chest. If he didn't consider taking a few steps back and directly held his breath for 1 or 2 more moves, the result would be in a few seconds, and the chance of winning would be more than 90%. Not retreating to take a breath meant that if he couldn't take down Lu Qing in 1 or 2 blows, Zhou Yuaning would lose the advantage of speed and body movement and be in an extremely bad situation. Once he was suppressed by Lu Qing's brutal blizzard, he might not be able to take a breath. Therefore, a quick decision really required a little bit of sharpness and courage. Speaking of this, Jiang Lan shook her head. The scale of victory is beginning to change. Ah. Sister Lan, you mean Lu Cheng's chance of winning has increased? Impossible. Zhou Yuaning's physical strength is still enough for 4 or 5 rounds of crazy attacks. Yi Yaoting frowned. Jiang Lan smiled slightly. You will know if you continue to watch. Unlike them who could calmly analyze, the mood of the audience had been like a roller coaster because of the competition just now. They were worried or happy that Lu Cheng was about to be hit by a palm, and then they were shocked by his self-rescue on the edge of the cliff. Even those who bet on Zhou Yuaning couldn't help but applaud. In a short time, the edge of victory and defeat was hovering around. This is a martial arts competition. Lu Cheng's mercurial balance couldn't keep up with Zhou Yuaning's body movement changes. Even if he fought with him, he was often entangled by him. Facing the upcoming second round of tornado wind, facing the expected thrilling situation, he was a little nervous. But with the previous round of experience, he was no longer unfamiliar with dealing with similar situations. Some things had become instinct. As long as Zhou Yuaning is in my sight, I have a lot of confidence to resist whether it's abrupt force or invisible wind. What I am most afraid of is his sudden attack from behind in the blind spot at that time. Thinking of this, Lu Qing raised his right arm and put it beside his face, blocking Zhou Yuaning's palm from the side. When the two collided, Zhou Yuaning tiptoed and circled to Lu Cheng's back. His abnormal mercurial balance, like a ghost, but with a little wind and unruly. Lu Cheng had a similar idea. He was in a similar situation. He instinctively made a decision in his mind. From top to bottom, driving to the opponent. Imitating Tang Yu's mammoth says. The wind surged, Zhou Yuaning's footwork changed, his back bounced and he shot to the left. At this moment, Lu Qing adjusted his muscles, moved his spine like a dragon, and changed his center of gravity. He dispersed the inch force, reversed the downward swing of his right arm, twisted his waist in the opposite direction, tightened his thighs, and swept out his left leg towards Zhou Yuaning, who was dodging this way. If he didn't have a mercurial balance and a certain degree of coordination and control of his own muscles, he would be considered lucky if he didn't sprain his waist. He wouldn't be able to exert any strength and kick. Of course, the prerequisite was that he had reserved some strength and was prepared for this. Bang! Zhou Yuaning had no time to avoid. He put his left arm down and blocked Lu Cheng's whip kick. His body slightly sank and temporarily lost his agility. With this contact, Lu Cheng heard Zhou Yuaning's movement and borrowed a little strength. He put his left leg down, twisted his waist, and turned to face Zhou Yuaning. His right leg followed up with a kick. Like the biting cold north wind in winter, he wanted to put Zhou Yuaning in the suppression of a brutal blizzard. Zhou Yuaning's expression didn't change. There seemed to be a storm forming in his dark eyes. He clenched his right hand into a fist and suddenly chopped, as fast as a gust of wind. Bang! He faced Lu Cheng's strong attack head-on and beat back the whip kick. Lu Cheng almost couldn't keep his center of gravity, so naturally he couldn't follow up with the momentum of brutal blizzard. Wuthering 8 movements, a unique skill, horrible hurricane. After blocking, Zhou Yuaning opened up the distance again and started to breathe again. See? Jiang Lan pointed to the arena and said to Yi Yaoting. Yi Yaoting frowned with a puzzled face. Why do I feel that this kid is enlightened? I have watched all the videos of his previous matches. At the beginning, his inexperience and unfamiliarity are obvious. That is to say, he is constantly learning the nutrients and game experience of the battle. He improved after every battle, and that's how he got today. In the previous few battles, he was not suppressed and could only passively defend. Facing Zhou Yuaning, at the beginning, he was naturally more inexperienced and had a lot of flaws. When he adapted and had experience, the scales of victory will certainly change. Jiang Lan sighed. Yi Yaoting looked at her in surprise. You mean he was a standard rookie before? Isn't this growth rate a little too fast? Some people are really good at growing in battle. Of course, the weaker they are, the more they gain. Didn't we also have such a period of time in the past where we could clearly feel progress every time we fought? Jiang Lan sighed. Yi Yaoting was silent for a moment and asked, Sister Lan, who do you think has a higher chance of winning now? Of course, Zhou Yuaning. Jiang Lan laughed. If he is only at the current level, he doesn't deserve to be called professional ninth pin. Her voice just fell. Zhou Yuaning once again closed the distance, and there seemed to be a wind in the arena. Lu Qing only felt that he was almost forming a real small tornado around himself, and he felt that he was about to be attacked from all directions. Whoosh! A strong and strange wind sounded. Lu Cheng's heart was cold and instinctively had fear. In his mind, a silver lightning suddenly struck down, igniting a prairie fire. Lightning and fire stance. The hot flow surged. Lu Qing pushed his right arm in front of his body and collided with Zhou Yuaning's single whip, whistling over. Bang! Lu Cheng's body shook, and his arm was almost pressed in front of his body. He felt the majestic strength of the opponent. If he didn't use lightning and fire stance in time, he was afraid that his stance would be broken. Zhou Yuaning tiptoed, circled to the side, leaned forward, and punched with his left fist from bottom to top, like the recoil of a spring compressed to the extreme. Lu Qing didn't dare to neglect. His bent left arm suddenly opened, like a long spear ready to shoot, and blocked the attack. In his mind, the lightning continued to strike, and there was the scene of the collapse of the towering snowy peak. Bang! A muffled sound broke out. Lu Cheng's avalanche force was not evenly matched with Zhou Yuaning's. His center of gravity shook again, and he couldn't borrow the force, nor could he interfere with Zhou Yuaning's movement. In the next short time, Zhou Yuaning launched continuous attacks from all directions. The power of each attack was a little stronger than Lu Cheng's mega avalanche and lightning and fire stance. He was suppressed to the point of collapse, and it seemed that he would never wait for the hurricane to stop. Bang, bang, bang. The sound of blocking continued. Although Lu Qing had the Jindan to replenish his strength, and he was not afraid of slowing down, but under this pressure, many problems were gradually magnified in the connection between the moves. How long can he last under this level of attack? Just when the thought flashed, Lu Qing saw Zhou Yuaning circle to the front of him again, as if incarnated into a storm, and hit with his fist. The air was full of whistling sounds. And he himself had just finished dealing with the side and rear attack, and his current posture was very awkward. In the face of this attack, his strength was not fast enough, and the connection was half a beat too short. He could barely make a blocking posture, and there was a bad feeling in his heart. Bang! Lu Cheng's defense posture was directly opened, and his chest and abdomen were completely exposed to Zhou Yuaning's follow-up attack, just like Guan Yan who lost to Yi Yaoding. According to his past experience, the game was basically over. As long as the opponent leaned or hit, he could easily win. However, Lu Qing had never thought of admitting defeat. His heart was as calm as ice. Countless thoughts flashed through his mind as he searched for the only way to avoid the following attacks. Good! The sound of exclamation was deafening. Yi Yaoding gently clapped for the pocket money she was about to get. At this moment, Lu Qing suddenly leaned back, as if he didn't want his center of gravity. His right leg kicked, driving his body to half-turn, and slapped Zhou Yuaning's fist to hit his chest and abdomen. Iron Bridge. Dragon turning over. This was not a unique skill, but an extreme confidence in his ability to control his center of gravity. It was the dismantling and reorganization of 24 blizzard strikes. Of course, Lu Qing had no other way. Bang! His right leg kicked Zhou Yuaning's follow-up attack. Because he kicked from the bottom to the top, the rebound was naturally from the top to the bottom, as if someone pressed the lever. Bang! Lu Qing bounced his spine and straightened his back. Using the momentum, he stood up again and swung his right arm at the enemy in front of him like a carp flip. Zhou Yuaning took a step, immediately circled to his right side, and bombarded him with another blast punch. Suddenly, Lu Cheng's right arm stopped, and his left palm came out from under his armpit, and narrowly blocked Zhou Yuaning's attack. When he bounced up, he had already thought about how to deal with the follow-up attack. He deliberately slapped with his right arm, revealing a corresponding flaw, in order to imitate Wang Yi, waiting for Zhou Yuaning's attack with finding the moon in the sea. Bang! Fist and palm collided, and the power exploded. They were evenly matched. What? Lu Qing only felt that Zhou Yuaning's power was much weaker than before. Was his breath coming to an end? Lu Qing subconsciously visualized the momentum of the gale in his mind, and broke out in advance. He stepped to Zhou Yuaning next to him, believing in his judgment and not considering other possibilities. His heart was not the slightest bit shaken. Just when he was ready, he saw Zhou Yuaning was trying to open up the distance with the wind. The gale, in his heart, roared more vigorously, and he strode, madly chasing. My judgment is right. Although his speed was not as fast as Zhou Yuaning's, and the distance between the two of them was constantly increasing, he still had the upper hand. It was not like before when he couldn't catch up and had already started to speed up. Compared to the distance when he was adjusting his breath before, the current distance was not safe for Zhou Yuaning at all. Zhou Yuaning couldn't hold it anymore. He opened his mouth and exhaled a big mouthful of turbid air, and his body slowed down. Lu Qing immediately caught up, lowered his shoulder and crossed his elbow, and slammed forward like an avalanche torrent to tear the city wall. Zhou Yuaning took a deep breath, lowered his waist, and crossed his arms to block Lu Qing's collision. He didn't have time to use the abrupt force, and his body swayed. Lu Qing heard the change, borrowed the strength, and straightened his body. His right hand punched out like a blast, and the brutal blizzard seemed to come between them. Bang, bang, bang. Zhou Yuaning blocked several times, but because of his breath, he couldn't escape from Lu Qing's crazy and fierce attack, and temporarily lost the advantage of body movement. In the heat of the battle, Lu Qing suddenly let out a roar, like a sudden clap of thunder on the ground. Open for me. He clenched his left fist, and his whole body seemed to expand. He was condescending, and the rolling momentum was unstoppable. Bang! Zhou Yuaning's defense was directly broken. His arms swung open, and the space between his chest and abdomen was exposed, just like Lu Qing just now. Disregarding his status, he also fell backwards, trying to use the iron plank bridge and the donkey roll to avoid the attack. But his body suddenly felt empty. Without the support of the breath in his chest, he fell down stiffly. He had reached the limit of the breath he had before. Lu Qing took a step forward, shortened the distance, lowered his body, and punched out his arm, tearing the air, making a crisp sound, and paused at Zhou Yuaning's throat. Lu Qing wins. The referee's voice echoed between the two, as if it came from the horizon. The whole martial arts stadium was silent, and even the sound of a needle falling could be heard. Lu Qing was in a trance, as if he was in a dream. Today's fight was the most thrilling one so far. He fell to the edge of failure twice, and almost went home with his luggage. Relying on luck, strength, judgment, spirit, and courage, he grasped the fleeting dawn. Victory or defeat is only a thought. Bonus, here I come. P.S. I actually stayed in the first place for a while. What a surprise. Second update, victory, please recommend me. You're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.